Hello, you join me in the Drivers' Lounge ahead of the grand final for the F1 Pro Series, where in a couple of hours, one of these drivers will be crowned champion. Will it be a man with pride and passion to match his team heritage, or will it be someone using their tactical know-how of years of crafting their skills in single-seat racing? Will it be the Dane with fire in his belly and ice in his mind, or will it be the novice turned maestro in red? One thing is for certain, tonight, a brand new name will be going on this trophy.
Drivers.
The same dream.
Only one
will see it realized.
All the hours of planning,
training,
and racing. It all comes down
to one moment.
Or one error.
Who will take their chance?
There can only be one
winner.
So quick, so fast, it's a beautiful move.
Who will be crowned F1 Esports New Balance Pro Series Champion 2019? Yes! How about that for the last time this year? You join us at the G-Affinity Arena for what is going to be a fantastic grand final in the F1 Pro Series. There are 3 more races coming up tonight, and someone will be crowned F1 Esports New Balance Pro Series Champion. And to help guide us through it all, for once again, I'm going to be invited to stand right here next to me throughout the whole of it, Matt Gallagher and Jolyon Palmer. Guys, grand final. Matt Gallagher, when I say grand final, what does that mean to you?
the end.
Okay, good. Solid start. No, but what does it mean, the grand final? Obviously, the combination of the journey to get here.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. You know, we've finally got the final races. This is where potentially some of the teams may have been a bit more tentative. Some of the drivers just trying to score a few points. These last three races, 2 of which we've never seen before, there's going to be a few dive bombs, and I can't wait. OK, a few lunges, perhaps. Jolyon, you were rallying the troops. You won't have seen this, but backstage, sort of having a speech. It was kind of like something out of 300 meets Gladiator. What were you saying to the guys?
Well, look, it's a cauldron of excitement tonight. It's there's so much that can be won or lost. Tonight is the sort of night that legends can be made. And I think everyone's got to leave nothing on the table. It's a biggie. OK, perfect. And, of course, 2 brand new tracks that we've never seen in F1 Esports tonight, Suzuka and Interlagos. Now, it is time to introduce our special guest for this evening. Before her switch to single-seat racing, she became the youngest winner of the British GT Championship in 2015, was the first woman to win a British Formula 3 race, and has just won the inaugural W Series Championship. Please welcome to the stage, Jamie Chadwick. How about that? Jamie, lovely to have you here. It's quite daunting just even coming through the tunnel.
Gotta say, I've not had an entrance like that ever. That's quite cool.
Well, welcome to the F1 Esports Pro Series. It's the grand final. Nerves are going to be jangling for the drivers, but are you excited to be part of this tonight?
I am. I've been following it all year, but this is the first event I've actually managed to get to, and it's such an incredible setup. Excited to see how it all pans out tonight. I know the pressure's high, so yeah, excited to see how it all ends up. Finishing up in the Drivers' Championship. Definitely, and we saw some clips of your successes this year, the achievements. Is it beginning to sink in a little bit? Starting to get there, yeah. I feel like this year's been a bit of a whirlwind. It's gone very quick, but yeah, it's starting to sink in. It's nice now to have a bit of time to sort of enjoy the moment, but yeah, we're going to be at 2020 before we know it, so yeah, it's just about getting going and yeah, working hard over this winter. Well, welcome to the team, Matt and Jolyon. Got basically a brilliant night ahead of us. Now, listen, a look at the driver standings. Coming into this final event, there are still 4 drivers with a mathematical chance of lifting the title this evening. David Tanitsa leads the way on 146 points and 3 wins. Freddy Rasmussen is in second in the Red Bull with 26 points back. And third is Jarno Oxman, another 17 points adrift. Danny Berezny, back-to-back wins in Spa and Monza mean he can
still overhaul the drivers in front of him, but will need a few results to go his way. We move on to the team standings, and it is a similar story in the team championship. The one big difference being that it is Red Bull on top spot, 35 points clear of Ferrari, all of whose points have come from Tanzilla. That is his nickname, David Tonitza. Renault, the only team to have 2 drivers finish on top of the podium this season, are just 1 point behind in third. Alfa Romeo could still challenge from 4th. Guys, we've got to talk about this. It's going to go down to the end, and there probably is going to be, well, let me rephrase that, there is going to be a brand new champion.
Yeah, it's refreshing. I think we got so used to saying Brendan Lee wins this, Brendan Lee wins that. And to know that we'll have a new champion is brilliant for F1 Esports. And it's not decided either. We may well come down to the last race for both the Constructors and the Drivers' Championship. And that's what we live and breathe for, to have that drama, that excitement right till the end in Brazil.
OK, Julian, the man leading the pack is that David Tonitza, or Tonzilla as many people call him. What have you made of his season so far?
Exceptional, actually. First year in it, and from the word go, absolutely on the case. The thing is that the field's separated by such tiny margins, and yet you've got the same 2 that have sort of risen above, Tonitza and Rasmussen. Pressure's on tonight, but he's got every chance of making it champion.
Yeah, what have you made of him, Matt? He's there with the mascot. You've been calling it a toy. Have you thought about that from Event 3 last month? You called it a toy. Are you going to change that?
No, I haven't been thinking about David Tonitza's toy, if I'm honest. But that's, you know, I think if it's been working for him, then let's continue to see it tonight as well. Will he be able to deal with the pressure? That's the big question.
It is indeed. He loves to win races. All right, then. So the pressure's really coming from Freddy Rasmussen. What have you made of his season so far, Matt?
Well, Freddy has been absolutely bulletproof. His racecraft is something that is just so calm and composed. He rarely gets himself caught up in incidents. He's always scoring points. I think he had one last time out where he didn't score, which was a massive shock. But apart from that, he is so calm and composed when he goes for moves. He never really takes any risks, and that's why he's up there still fighting for the Drivers' Championship.
Yeah, excitement isn't something I'd say about Freddy. He is very consistent. You say that's a fair reflection on him? Those lunges, those overtakes, when you think he could be on for getting a first finish, he never does.
He saves all of his energy when he's driving. You know, you'll see on boards or pictures of him, and he won't move his face at all. There's no facial energy happening. It's all in the steering wheel.
It's all in the steering wheel.
It's crazy.
No wasted energy on the ERS. Jolien, let's talk about Jana Oxman. A bit of a surprise package, obviously, with the Renault team. What have you made of his season?
Good. He's had some real high moments. The consistency's not quite been there, but again, first year in it for him. And overall, very, very encouraging. A lot of good fights, good scraps, and he'll be looking to go out on a high. Renault have taken a good step, actually, this year.
OK, and can he possibly win it? I mean, there's a mathematical chance. Daniel Berezny has still got a chance. I know that, Jamie, you've been working with the Alfa Romeo team. Do you think maybe he's got a chance tonight?
I hope so. I mean, obviously, I'm a bit biased in the Veloce camp, but I think I've seen how hard Danny works behind the scenes, and he's been really unlucky at the start of this year. So, yeah, it's an outsider's chance, but if he can get a bit of luck and a bit of a rub of the green, I'd love to see him take the title tonight.
Indeed, we will have to wait and see. Don't forget, 3 races on the way. Stay with us, don't go anywhere. Daniel Berezny, Jana Oxman, Freddy Rasmussen or David Tonitza will be your 2019 champion. Now, it's not just the drivers and the team championship up for grabs. There is also a DHL Fastest Lap Award for the quickest driver this year. Currently, Toro Rosso's Patrick Holtzman is leading the fight for the award, with Freddy Rasmussen his closest challenger. Now, I want to talk about Patrick Holtzman. Matt, we know he's got the ability. We know he's fast. In terms of putting that into a bit more of a consistent challenge for maybe a Drivers' Championship, what's he missing?
Well, yeah, consistency, not getting involved in those sort of first lap incidents, and it all comes down to qualifying, as I've been saying throughout the entire season, really. If you're not in that top 4 or 5, you're always getting stuck in battles that you don't want to be in, potentially behind someone that starts on the mediums, the harder compounded tyre, so they're going to be slower. So there's many factors, but I think it all comes down to qualifying.
We'll stay tuned to see if he wins that trophy tonight. Now, one man showing plenty of consistency this season is Freddy Rasmussen. Even if he fails in his bid for the driver's title, he could still be celebrating tonight with the Red Bull in pole position to win the team championship, thanks in no small part to his teammates Joni Tomala and Nicolas Longwy.
How about you? Oh, well, I started playing on PlayStation 3, I guess. What was yours first game? F1 game from late 90s, I'm not sure. The first event, I had a lot of issues with my rig, all the equipment, so I couldn't score any points really. And after that, it was really hard to bounce back. But now I think I'm finding myself again and getting faster and faster, which is good because it's the crucial part of the season. Red Bull are really supportive when it comes to that. They don't, like, if you have a hard time.
They make sure you're doing the best you can, the most comfortable you can be. But usually also between us drivers, like if there's a problem, we usually try to help each other out. My hope is to win the Team Constructor Championship and also have fun.
Yeah, I just want to win it. Been pushing so hard for the last few months, that would be awesome.
The first race getting a podium was really good for the team and I can't be more happy. Well, Freddy, we all know he doesn't like cameras, but he's really, I guess, he's really himself with us.
Freddy Rasmussen here comes across the line to win the third race of the F1 Esports Pro Series season.
Yeah, I think Freddy is really competitive.
Yeah. If something doesn't go his way, he's gonna fix it like straight away. He finds the way. If you have a close bond, you feel comfortable with your teammate and you can trust them on the track.
We do talk outside of racing, yeah, like quite a lot actually. We're basically together all the time.
Player 2, let's go.
I was so close.
During our boot camp, we train how many hours? Like 8?
I don't know, last time I did 10 hours every day.
10 hours a day. We usually come here like a week before the event, so we get into the groove of focusing and concentrating and getting the result. The gap compared to last year is much closer throughout the whole field, so it's really up to anyone.
It all comes down to consistency. Like, everyone can win races, everyone can be on the podium, so you just need to be there consistently, and that's going to help.
Actually, my dad, I think, is coming to this last event, so it's going to be cool.
Nice. Is your dad going to be one of those dads that make a big deal out of themselves in the audience?
Like, sometimes he's going to sit there and watch, but if something happens, he's going to make sure people heard him. I hope to be here still next year and do my best, prove to myself that I can still be here and also put up a good show.
I don't want to think about 2020 yet because the season is still not over. Like, once the championship is done, I'll start looking into that more, but now I'm fully focused on that.
There you go, Joni Tomala and your fantastic Mr. Nicholas Longwy. What a debut. Let's remind people, I said about Freddy Rasmussen, he's got a fire in his belly and an ice-cold mind, but it was nice to hear from those guys. Nicholas Longwy, what a debut for him, the youngest ever driver to get a podium finish. What a fantastic way to start your debut in F1 Esports.
Yep, can't really fault it. He's actually in the mix for the win as well in Monza. So the thing is with the teams, they've obviously got Freddy Rasmussen who's leading the line and trying to push for the driver's title. But it really is a team sport. You've always got to be lifting and pushing each other to your max. And with 3 of them being very quick, it's really helped, or the other 2 being quick, it's helped Rasmussen in his charge for the title.
Yeah, and indeed, as we go to Suzuka for the first time ever in F1 Esports, we are going to go to this track, they could tie up everything in the franchise championship. And just to wish them good luck, well, we had to ask Christian Horner, of course, to send them a message.
Well, very good luck to our Red Bull Racing Esports drivers, Freddy, Joni and Nicholas. Give it everything. Good luck on the night and make sure you come home with a big trophy. All the best.
Indeed, and I've already seen the trophy. It is a big trophy, so well done, Christian, on giving away the secrets there. It's great to see the F1 teams throwing their support behind the Pro Series, and we're now ready for the first race of the evening. And it's a first for the Pro Series, as I said, as we go to Suzuka. Jolyn, what is needed to do well on this circuit?
Qualifying, definitely. It's a brilliant circuit, old school, fast-flowing corners, a couple of overtaking chances as well into the old chicane where Senna and Prost had their classic moment all those years ago. But definitely not necessarily known for its overtaking, more known for good driver skill making the difference.
Perfect. OK, well, listen, let's have a look at the qualifying situation. Jolene, you're going to be heading up to the casters area. You'll be able to do that tonight. Matt, talk us through this grid. David Tonitza finds himself on the second row behind Freddy Rasmussen.
And Alvaro Carreton, his first pole position ever, so that's a brilliant performance from him. Only 9 thousandths of a second faster than Rasmussen on the front rows, but Tonitza right there, as you say, in third position. Lucas Blakely, what a story for him in P4, less than 2 tenths behind. Enzo Benito, he's always there or thereabouts in that McLaren. Jarno Oxman, difficult qualifying for him, but he might try an alternate strategy. There's definitely strategy elements to this Suzuka circuit. Simon Weigang, he wants to put in some good performance for Renault as well. Very close between them and Ferrari for second in the constructors. And
Chib Bullet-Bassi, we'll be talking about him later on in the show. Not the same consistency that we saw in 2018. And obviously there, Amos Larito down in 20th. He won't be happy with that. We go to Suzuka. One final thought for maybe for these drivers, what they need to do?
God, Suzuka's not an easy track and it bites, I think, if you make a mistake. So I think consistency, precision, accuracy is going to be very key. So, yeah, it's going to be all they've got in this one.
Perfect. All right, Matt, Jamie, thank you very much. Let's head up to those casters because Jolien has run up there. The Flash is back. Jack Nicholls and Davide Vosecchi. Are we still calling him the Flash?
Yeah, why not? Is that your favourite nickname?
Quick as a flash, Jolien Palmer.
Quick as a flash,
yeah,
Jolien Palmer.
It goes.
You heard it here first. Davide, talk to me about Suzuka. You like it?
Yeah, a lot. It will be interesting to race. And there is an overtaking point just after the main straight, left corner completely flat, and then chicane. There is where the driver needs to attack and needs to take the advantage.
Here's a look at it. Only one DRS zone, which is why overtaking is going to be maybe a little bit trickier than some of the other circuits.
Definitely, and a lot of fast-flowing corners as well, so not so easy to follow all the way through from turn 1 up to turn 9, really, the Degners. Then the second half, there's some longer straights and better chances, but as you say, no DRS. Still, turn 16, the chicane is the best chance, probably.
OK, then. So, Alvaro Carreton on pole position for the Williams team. Freddy Rasmussen alongside him on the front row. Tonitza and Blakely are on row 2. All 5 lights are on. We're racing at Suzuka. Who's going to get a good start? It's reasonable from Carreton. He comes off to cover Freddy Rasmussen. Lucas Blakely trying to get the inside of Tonitza down into turn 1 and 2, but he can't quite get it done. Daniel Berejne in the Alfa Romeo goes around the outside of the racing point, but he can't make that move stick either. We're on board with Tonitza as we come through this fantastic Essex sequence of corners, nothing to do with Essex, as they now come up through Dunlop Curve and towards the 2 Degners for the first time. Perfect start though for Carreton.
He tried to hit on the outside just at the first break, but then Rasmussen bring into the corner too much speed and he could maintain the position. So well done for Rasmussen that he's fighting the championship and is ahead of Tonitza at the moment.
Yeah, that's going to be the key coming into this race. It is 26 points, the difference between Tonitza ahead of Rasmussen in the championship. And we are on board with Tonitza, the Italian now, on the soft compound of tyres, these front runners, as they come up to Spoon Curve for the first time, and then we get into that long, long run down the back straight. Alvaro Carreton with his first pole position, and he has had a best place this season of 6th in Baku, so to be leading this race is a really impressive job from the 18-year-old Spaniard. Could be under pressure here from Rasmussen, coming down into the chicane. Rasmussen's fairly close. Doesn't feel like a move at the moment.
For Carreton here, pole position, the first one he's got. Actually having Rasmussen behind, he's really quick, Rasmussen, but he's not prone to making a lunge. We've just heard that and seen it all year so far. So he's doing all right. He's got the right man behind him right now, even if he's super quick. Rasmussen's got to worry about Tonitza behind, because this is the championship battle here, 2nd and 3rd behind the race-leading Williams.
No DRS just yet. Coming into the S's now for the 2nd time. How difficult is it to follow a car through the S's?
So closely, very difficult, because usually you lose downforce there and you lose the grip of the car. Sometimes you have understeer in the middle of the corner and then oversteer, snap oversteer and exit. So fantastic job from Rasmussen and Tonitza. They are all packed and important to be close enough at the end of the 2nd sector to try to attack with the main straight.
I think we're going to keep seeing those gaps just extend though into turn 1. That's where the DRS zone is, so they're going to be right together. But the problem is turn 1's so quick. You approach it, turning flat out. So it's really no braking distance to try and throw a lunge. And then it's into those fast corners. Now we've got a better chance here, up to Spoon Curve, but the gap's just extended all that little bit. 4 tenths is not a lot, but in esports terms, it is a bit too much. No DRS here, but there could be a chance anyway for Rasmussen.
Daniele Haddad in 6th position, started 8th on the grid, and he's the highest runner on the medium compound of tyres. So it's looking to do something a little different strategy-wise, and then Tino Nakarinen in 9th place back. all on the medium tyres as well. Rasmussen, oh, so close to the gearbox of the Williams in front, but no move yet. Oh, bit of oversteer coming through the final corner.
Did you saw it?
I saw it.
Oh, he risked so much, but look at him. Maybe he's going to have a chance.
Into turn one, not close enough. No DRS that time, though, so DRS now enabled. The drag reduction system, open the flap in the rear wing and get some more straight line speed.
If he's that close to next up, then he's going to have a great chance there. Really, really strong through that chicane. Just tight to the apex, it's the right level of curve. And that looks like an area Rasmussen's good, and that's important because it's the two overtaking places, really. But you saw turn one, flat out, absolutely through it, and then just braking on the exit for turn two, which is the first proper corner, so it's so difficult. You've got to be fully alongside to make a move there.
Weigang, Bollock-Bassi and Lorito have all pitted then, so a very early pit stop from those drivers onto the soft compound of tyres, so they're going to hope that that will last for the remainder of the race. And once again, Freddy Rasmussen right behind race leader Alvaro Carreton. We're on board with David Tonitza, championship leader, watching his rival in front, trying to take the lead of the race away. Into Spoon.
Super close this time, Rasmussen, and now we're coming to the overtaking section, and this time he's a lot closer than he was even on the last lap. No DRS here still, but if he can just tuck in, get a slipstream, force Carreton to defend, maybe he might be able to have a go.
Through 130R, absolutely flat out, down towards the chicane. Is Carreton going to cover the inside line? He's not, but...
Doesn't need to with Rasmussen behind.
Rasmussen doesn't go for it. Head in your hands, Davide.
I don't know, I think it was close enough, but probably with the DRS you have a big advantage on the main straight, but it's not enough. I mean, it was close enough to try the attack on the inside. It was a bit risky, but you know, you are challenging the championship. You need to risk a bit. Anyway, he's very aggressive today because he followed the car so closely, but he needs to make the next step, the overtake.
The thing is for Rasmussen here, you feel that if he could pass Carreton, he can escape. Tonitza's right behind him still, and these are the championship rivals. That last lap, he almost hit the back of Carreton on the brake. He was so close to him, just a little nose to the inside or something. You got to try and put your rival off. And if he's not going to go for it on that lap, I fear he's not going to go for it at all, to be honest.
Well, keep watching. Lap 4 of 13 as Freddy Rasmussen chases down Alvaro Carreton up into the hairpin. David Tonitza still there lurking in third. Good performance this from Daniel Blakely, who hasn't done a lot of racing this season, but he's having a very strong run in the Racing Point. He's in 4th place, right behind David Tonitza, actually.
This is perfect for the front two. It's not really an overtaking place in there. Spoon curve, attack it with a lot of speed, then slow it down slightly for the second part. But again, we come back to this section. Rasmussen's just dropped slightly this lap, and actually Tonitza's really quick through Spoon. And he's pulled a couple of car lengths on Blakely. He's got Beresnay right behind him now.
Yeah, Lucas Blakely under big pressure as they come through 130R. Little look to the inside from Rasmussen, but still doesn't quite fancy it, nor does Beresnay in 5th, and they're 1.8 seconds ahead of Brendan Lee.
Here we go, here we go.
Fantastic exit for Rasmussen, that he changed the line and tried to cross, and now DRS. Yes, he's doing it.
Freddy Rasmussen to the inside and into the lead at Suzuka. Gets ahead of Alvaro Carreton into 1st place. And that puts a car between him and his title rival, David Tonitza. Into the pits comes Daniel Beresnay and Lucas Blakely. So that drops them a little down the order. What can Tonitza do? How swiftly can he pass Alvaro Carreton? It's important he does so fairly fast.
Yeah, Rasmussen really quick, and he was so good in the chicane, really tight to the apexes. Carreton just missed it slightly, and that compromised his exit. He was a sitting duck. And Rasmussen, he didn't need to outbrake anyone there, just straight through on the start-finish line. Now he's got to try and gap Carreton, and he's just starting to. Look at that with Tonitza, the next man behind the Williams.
On board again with Tonitza. 3rd place for the Italian. 17-year-old in his first season in the F1 Esports Pro Series, and he's been mightily impressive.
I think that Blakely, that was 4th before, he just pit and he changed the strategy. He was so close to Tonitza, and now we have Brendan Lee in 4th position, so probably he decided to do something different with the strategy, and maybe he can pay.
Here they come to 130R. The top 3 now in a little bit of a gap of their own. Then Brendan Lee in 4th place, as you say. Daniele Haddad in 5th. Enzo Benito 6th. And then Blakely is the first of our pit stoppers on the medium compound tyre. And into the pits now comes Rasmussen, Carreton and Tonitza. So this is going to be a straight pit lane battle. What they want to be careful about is any unsafe releases. Away goes the Red Bull onto the medium compound tyre, coming out just behind Daniele Haddad. And Tonitza looks as though he's come out still behind the Williams of Caraton? Yes. So there comes Caraton out in front. Here comes Daniel Blakely, Lucas Blakely, meanwhile, down into the first corner. And where's he going to emerge? I think he's going to get past Caraton. Around the outside comes the racing point, and he does. It was side by side further back as well between Tonitsa and Caraton, but Freddy Rasmussen is out in the lead of the race. Let's hear from him.
You just do you. Your pace is amazing. That's a brilliant race so far.
You just do you. Your pace is amazing. What a lovely message.
That's what you want to hear. Coming up to the half distance already. Holtzman's up to third as well.
Yeah.
He pitted early and has made a good couple of places there. Caraton and the early leaders down to fourth, and they've all pitted. So this is all for position. Rasmussen ticking along nicely. That move was critical because look, Caraton's down in fourth. If Rasmussen didn't clear him, then he'd be down there as well. And we'd have Blakely leading the race.
So that means that Freddy Rasmussen, the second place man in the championship, is leading the race. He's 26 points behind David Tonitsa, but is going to close in massively if the Ferrari driver only finishes in 5th place behind Alvaro Caraton as we approach half race distance in this 10th round of the season. And Rasmussen is 1.3 seconds ahead of Blakely. It's really worked out well for the Red Bull driver. And
what a strategy for him,
yeah.
Because it was like very clever. He just saw that he was a bit stuck and he decided to stop immediately. So he had fresh air and he could explode his speed, and he paid off very well because now he's second. And also Oxman surprised me because he was behind and now he's fighting for the podium, so well done.
This man's under big pressure now. Tonitsa down in 5th place. Started alongside Rasmussen. They started second and third, and now there's 3 cars in between, and they're all dropping back away from the race leader. So Tonitsa, championship leader, he needs to try and get on with this. Caraton's not quite at the pace, but he's still ahead of the Ferrari Tonitsa.
But the man Tonitsa is under pressure from is Jarno Opmeer, who is still in contention for the championship. Okay, a 6th place finish here isn't going to really close in, and it's going to become more of a 2-horse race, but he's certainly a front runner, Jarno Opmeer. He's won races, had multiple podium finishes this season. He's not right on the back of the Ferrari, but he's certainly got the ability to cause Tonitsa a bit of trouble. Can Tonitsa cause Caraton trouble in front of him? And also remember that it was a good strategy from Blakely and from Patrick Holtzman, but they are going to have slightly older tyres, older soft tyres compared to the original race runners at the front that were on that are on the mediums.
Degradation's been fairly low. That's why they were so aggressive early on, and it's paid them back right now, but still a good handful of laps to hold on to second and third, and that looks like the most it's going to be because Rasmussen is just checking out front now, nearly 2 seconds, which is a lifetime in esports. So things all looking good for Rasmussen, and that means it's looking bad for Opmeer and Berezne in the championship. They can only loosely still win it, and this is going to completely make it a 2-horse race.
At 8 of 13, Berezne down in 9th place in all of that. He really got shuffled down in that strategy situation because he was right up with your Blakeleys of this world. As Rasmussen leads the way, 2 seconds ahead of Blakely in second, who's 3 tenths ahead of Holtzman. This is the battle we're watching here, the racing point ahead of the Toro Rosso. We're on board with the German now. Here he comes into the 2 right-handers at Degner's. He's had flashes of speed in the F1 Esports Pro Series in the past. He was very strong in the Visa Vegas E-Race a few years ago. Into the hairpin.
Tonitsa seems that he's starting to put pressure on Caraton at the moment, but it's not an easy condition for him, because if you consider that all the cars in front of you, or in front of him, as the DRS on the main straight, you're struggling with the top speed, and it's not easy to make the move and to try to take the advantage. So, not an easy condition. He needs to manage the race, not losing the head, and try to finish with some good move.
And there's a slipstream as well for Caraton down here, so if it's not the DRS, it's just an old-fashioned slipstream. And this is a bit of a disaster for Tonitsa because he's not able to get any sort of straight-line speed advantage that you'd normally have. He needs Holtzman to get on with it, passing Blakely, really. That's the man that doesn't have DRS right now. He's dropping away. His pace isn't great, but he's keeping them all behind, and that's the main thing for him at the moment.
It's a big old queue, isn't it, from Blakely all the way back through to everyone, like pretty much down to 17th place. Look, they're all in a big old queue, and then it's Jan Feller who's just dropped a little bit further away, along with Lorito and Villas. So lap 9 of 13, Freddy Rasmussen doing his best to really take a big chunk out of the lead of David Tonitsa in this championship, who sprinted away, winning the opening 2 races of the season, had a commanding lead, and now it's just getting chipped away a little bit.
Rasmussen is flying away. He's not on the monitor, but he's running so well. Rasmussen just surprised me. He was aggressive at the beginning of the race. He didn't make the move, and sometimes we are against him, but he was clever to use the exit and to make the overtakes on the straight. And now look at this pace. He's just flying. So well done for Rasmussen. Also, if you get this victory and this type of victory, you need you get motivation, you get self-confidence, and you can make your life different in this championship.
This is the perfect result for him if it stays this way, heading into the last 2 races. Huge momentum, and that pass was so critical, and it's allowed him now 2.5 seconds. It's just going up and up. Here we go.
David Tonitsa to the outside of Alvaro Caraton, coming down into the chicane. Not quite sure he can get all the way around there. He's going to get a good exit, though. Gets a little warning for exceeding the track limits, but this has to be the move, surely, from David Tonitsa. Caraton covers the inside. He'll get the DRS, but so will Caraton. So it's just going to be a drag race down into turn 1, and nothing doing. Caraton holds the place ahead of David Tonitsa. Was there anything really he could have done there?
He was unlucky there, because the 2 ahead went to the inside, so they gave Caraton the slipstream. If they stayed on the outside, he would have had the slipstream as well as the DRS, and he probably would have made it through. Unlucky, nearly had to go at turn 2 as well, but that would have been a bit of a kamikaze.
And probably Tonitsa used the ERS, so the electric power, on the other straight, and he missed it for the main one, and so he didn't get the chance.
Lap 10 of 13. Freddy Rasmussen, 2.5 seconds now ahead of Lucas Blakely in 2nd place. 4/10 back to Holtzman, then Caraton, and then Tonitsa. Jarno Opmeer still lurking in there in the Renault in 6th position. Brendan Lee, the outgoing champion, is in 7th place. Joni Tormala in 8th, Daniel Berejne in 9th, and he looks to be slipping out of the title fight, with Tino Nakkarinen completing the top 10. Both McLarens out of the points at the moment after a strong race last time out, or a strong couple of races a few weeks ago. We're on board with Jarno Opmeer. He's got the sort of prime seat to see all this train unfolding in front of him. Does anyone fancy a move into the chicane this time?
No, no. they're all just equidistant, 3/10, all of them separated. And when Blakely goes to the inside, he's under no real pressure. I don't know quite why he's doing that on the run down. Maybe it's a slightly shorter distance. But they all follow him because they all want that slipstream as well.
But what a race from Blakely. I mean, he's just new, and he just surprised me. Being a second all the race long with all this group behind him, he just managed the pressure, and he's not worried about them, and he's delivering a great result. So well done. Just the surprise of this race.
11 of 13. Freddy Rasmussen almost 3 seconds ahead up at the front. One of the most dominant race performances that I think we've seen in F1 Esports. This from Freddy Rasmussen, certainly this season. And he is comfortably ahead of Lucas Blakely in 2nd place. On board we go with Alvaro Caraton in 4th. He isn't making any moves on Patrick Holtzman yet, who's still on those old soft compounded tyre, but they seem to be working out quite well for the German. Here we come towards Spoon Curve, and it's kind of a fight of who's going to make a mistake, really, isn't it?
This is the time now, if there's any degradation. Blakely and Holtzman have got the older tyres, and Holtzman on the soft as well. You'd have thought if there's some degradation, they're just going to drop away in the last couple of laps. So far, they still look okay, but that should allow Caraton and Tonitsa a more aggressive last couple. But again, they're all absolutely equidistant. From 2nd down to 7th, they're all 3/10 away.
So Freddy Rasmussen out of the final chicane, and he is going to start the penultimate lap of the race, lap 12 of 13. Rasmussen in front. Blakely loves hugging that pit wall, doesn't he? And as you say, everybody follows him to the inside. He's got a bit of a run here as Holtzman, but Blakely's covered it off. Very, very close, though, for 2nd and 3rd as it stands, with Caraton in 4th and Tonitsa in 5th. As ever, I don't know why I keep bothering to run through the order.
Well done, Blakely. He covered the line because he was under pressure on the main straight, and not having the DRS, he just went a bit closer to the inside line at the break of the 1st corner, and he maintained the position. So well done, because he's looking in the mirror and he's maintaining the line, covering perfectly all the rivals.
He's soaking up the pressure brilliantly as well for such an inexperienced driver in esports. He's got really quick guys behind him. Holtzman in 3rd. Caraton was the pole sitter. Yeah. You've got the championship leader behind that. And Blakely, with his inexperience, He's under huge pressure, but he's absolutely not cracking for now. 1 lap and a few corners to go.
Was hoping to be doing more races this year, Lucas Blakely, but it didn't quite work out that way at the Racing Point team, with the likes of Daniele Haddad and also Marcel Kiefer in the squad.
Tunizia probably is close enough to try the move.
Here we go, the battle for 4th place. Is Tunizia looking to the outside at 130? He is. That's a brave one round the outside, and he's got the inside line for the chicane. Tunizia should be able to seal this. Down in 4th place, locks up. But what a great, brave move round the outside from David Tunizia. It's not over yet, though, because Caraton will try and fight back as they start the final lap of the race. Down towards turn 1. The Ferrari covers the inside, hugs the pit wall. Caraton to the outside. Nothing doing, and Holtzman is right up behind Lucas Blakely as well in the battle for 2nd. But great work there from David Tunizia.
Absolute beauty, that, around the outside of 130R. Bit of, well, it's a brave man's corner, that one, and easy to get things wrong, especially side by side. But he just held on. That gave him the inside for the final chicane, and then they both had DRS as they've always had, but he had the position. Half a lap to go.
Jarno Oxman under big pressure from Brendan Lee as they came through the S's that time through. But Freddy Rasmussen's lead now up to 3.3 seconds. Tino Nakarinen dropping back down the order you see on the left-hand side. So I wonder if he's come a cropper at one of the Degners. But it's Rasmussen in the lead, who looks like he's going to take the victory. Patrick Holtzman in in 3rd. David Tunizia then claws back up to 4th place, and it's those kind of points from 5th to 4th that could be defining in the championship, ultimately, if it comes down to the wire like it looks like it's going to. Here comes Freddy Rasmussen, though, down towards 130R for the final time. What an impressive drive this has been as he comes into the final chicane.
Freddy, what an insane drive. You're so good. Congrats.
Difficult to disagree with that. Fredrik Rasmussen wins in Suzuka. A really strong drive, and he has hauled himself back into championship contention, closing in on David Tunizia, who can only finish 4th. Lucas Blakely across the line in 2nd place with his best F1 Esports Pro Series result, and a podium for Patrick Holtzman in 3rd spot. Tunizia 4th, Caraton 5th. That effectively as well knocks Daniel Berejne out of championship contention because he's down in 16th place. Patrick Holtzman takes a swig of water after a good drive. Dominant from Rasmussen. Tunizia seemed to do all he could, really.
Well, Rasmussen and Tunizia both made 1 pass on the same guy, but it won Rasmussen the race, and Tunizia could only salvage 4th place. So he's just shared a few points, but at least he made up those 2 in the penultimate lap.
So Freddy Rasmussen taking the win. That closes the lead at the top of the championship down, which is obviously crucial for him with only 2 races to go. The gap is down to 13 points, and those kind of momentum swings can be crucial. David Tunizia looking a little bit bewildered isn't quite the right word, but he started up there in 3rd place, right with Rasmussen, a 10th or so away in qualifying, but it didn't work out come the actual race.
Yeah, was not so lucky during the pit stop. He lost the moment there, and probably was not a great choice of waiting 1 lap more, and seems that paid off stopping earlier and made the difference with the free air. So was not a very lucky one for Tunizia, but great move at the end. Give you an extra boost for the next one.
Well, Freddy Rasmussen has won the race in Suzuka. He's closed in on Tunizia at the top of the championship, and now, best of all, he's speaking to Rosanna Tennant.
Freddie, congratulations. A very controlled drive there. An amazing little positive step in the championship as well.
Yeah, I got quite lucky this race. I knew I had the pace, but I didn't quite nail it in qualifying. But everyone else got held up in the pits, and I was able to just break the DRS and pull away.
So is that a Freddie that we're happy, we're smiling?
Yes.
David, how happy are you with that result?
Not too much. I had a good lunch at the start, then I decided to go into the pits with Freddy, but I've been held again with the same bug, and Freddy got ghost car in the pit, so I left the pit in P5, and I've done, I think, a pretty good move on Alvaro, and I saved the race in P4.
How important was that move for the championship, do you think?
Yeah, it was key because right now I have to gain as much points as possible to win the championship.
Well done.
Thank you.
Right, let's pick up on a few moments from this amazing Japanese Grand Prix. First, I just want to talk about Freddy Rasmussen. Lap 5, it took him to go for the move, which we kind of thought was on from lap 1, if anything. He waited for DRS. His racecraft is It's far too chill for a spectator. You're going, please, just make the move. Finally, he does, and obviously it worked out beautifully for him. 25 points, and as I said earlier, absolutely no facial expression change whatsoever throughout the entirety of the race. And the other thing is David Tonitza, who I think was a little bit kind of off form. Let's see if that will load. There we go, perfect. He just seemed a little bit nervous. He feels like we're just getting towards the end now. The checkered flag is in sight for this F1 Esports series, and he just couldn't get past Caraton, which was really crucial for his race, because we're at lap 9 of 13 now, still exactly the same thing, just following into the hairpin. Then he has a great opportunity, lap 9 of 13. He has to go. Well, it is pretty much the racing line as we go. That's not going to do anything, no worries. But he's going to go into the racing line. Let's see if that will continue to work. Here we go, lovely. Love it when touchscreens don't work particularly well. But here we go, into the racing line, but he doesn't have the inside line, crucially, so he can't go through that last chicane in 4th place. But now, finally, a brilliant move, lap 12 of 13, but this is too late for him. Rasmussen's already checked out. He's having dinner somewhere. He's up into P4. He finally gets those extra few points. Caraton goes through 130R with his hand up, which is an interesting little animation there. But Tonitza up to P4, a difficult race for him. Will that be the same in the next one at the Circuit of the Americas? Who knows?
All right, thank you very much, Matt Gallagher. Love your work. That touch screen isn't being responsive tonight. But anyway, what does this all mean for the Drivers' Championship? Well, the gap to David Tonitza is down to 13 points. Jarno Oxman has slipped further back, but is still in contention, whilst Daniel Berezny's slim hopes of a first driver's title have now gone. We move on to the team standings. In the team standings, the Red Bull have extended their lead at the top of the table and looking good for a first team title. Now, we look at this. He may not be a title contender, but one man who was very happy with his race result today was Lucas Blakely, and Rosanna caught up with him after the race.
Lucas, second place for you. You tell me you're shaking. Why was it so stressful? This is a great result.
Yeah, I'm sort of speechless. It's just, I had to defend so much that whole race from Patrick behind, and I'm just trying to process it all because it went so quickly. I was thinking, right, I'll have like 8 laps to go, and it was like 3. I was like, right, okay, so yeah, I'm just super, super happy.
So you were able to enjoy the race as well, even though you were under such pressure?
Yeah, because I started P4 and just held position from the start, and then I was on the radio to my guys, I was like, we need to pit this lap, pitted that lap, and then got the undercut for P2, and I was like, right, come on, boys. And then the minute I didn't get DRS from Rasmussen, I was like, I used all my power to get in that position, so I was going to have to really defend really hard, but it worked in the end. It gets so close in the last lap because Patrick nearly got a run on me, but I just held it, so I'm super, super happy.
Well done, congratulations.
Thank you.
I love to see that. Lucas Blakely, a man that wasn't drafted last year, drafted this year, and is doing that. Come on, the boys. It's great to hear just what this Pro Series means to the drivers. And after the break, we are going to do it all again around the Circuit of Americas. Hello and welcome to round 1 of the F1 Esports New Balance Pro Series 2019. Over the next 4 months, sim drivers representing the 10 F1 teams will fight it out to be crowned Pro Series champion.
This is going to be a very, very entertaining first race of the 2019 F1 New Balance Esport Pro Series. All 5 lights are on, and we're racing in Bahrain. Berezny is going side by side with Rasmussen, coming up into turn 4. Oh, he's hit him. Here comes David Tonitza then, down towards the final corner. Looks as though he's going to take victory in the first race of the season.
This was my first ever race in the Pro Series. It's just an amazing feeling.
All 5 lights are on. We're racing in China. Coming out of the hairpin. Lovely work from David Tonitza. David Tonitza picked in the pro draft and suddenly finds himself leading for the 2nd race in a row. David Tonitza is going to come through the final corner and win the 2nd round of the F1 New Balance Esports Pro Series in Shanghai. We are about to get going with the 3rd race. Good start from Rasmussen, holds the lead. The 2 Williams in there as well. Here they come then, the final blast of corners. Freddy Rasmussen here comes across the line to win in Baku, to win the 3rd race of the F1 Esports Pro Series season.
What a start to the Pro Series Grand Final. Freddy Rasmussen was able to battle his way past the Williams of Alvaro Carreton to take his second win of the season. There was an emotional podium for Lucas Blakely, whilst championship leader David Tonitza had to make do with 4th place.
I knew I had the pace. Everyone else got held up in the pits, and I was able to just break the DRS and pull away.
Wow, we haven't given you much time to catch your breath because his lead in the Drivers' Championship has been halved, but Tonzilla still leads in what has been a fantastic first session in the Pro Series and a season indeed. Another of the 2019 intake who has made a good start to his career is Floris Faes. Picked by Haas in the Pro Draft, he will be hoping to collect some more points for his team in their home Grand Prix of Texas.
I got into esports racing 2 years ago, but I bought my wheel a bit too late because I didn't have the money and I wasn't quick enough to make the top 5. So I focused on 2018, made it to the Pro Draft, which was an amazing experience. I got picked by Haas and yeah, that was really nice. I've improved as a driver setup-wise because I have 2 amazing teammates right by my side. We go into the rigs and practicing face-to-face. It's a small margin to the top, but I need to find that speed and I hope to find it soon. I hope that the qualifying gets better. I hope to get in the points to top 10. We're still 8 points behind Toro Rosso, so it's all to play for. My goal for 2020 is to renew my contract with Haas because it's such a great atmosphere here. Chemistry with my teammates is really good, and with my teammates is undescribable actually because we're fitting so well together. And of course I want to improve my race pace and quali pace to be at the top level next year. I want to be an esports champion because that's my absolute goal.
You cut the cheeky way from Floris just at the end. Anyway, listen, guys, great start to this evening. Floris Faes and the Haas team. It hasn't gone to plan, but Floris Faes, you have to say, it's a great start, but it's not the one he would have quite wanted.
No, definitely not. I mean, Haas really haven't put that many points on the board. You know, they're fighting with Toro Rosso at the bottom end of the championship, but I don't think that's testament to how much time and effort they've put in. It's more the fact that this grid is so close, and we've seen it time and time again that tenths are separating the entire field. So I don't think they'll be too disheartened from where they finish in the Constructor Championship this time round. I think it's more about the learning experiences, you know, towing and qualifying. There's all kinds of things that all these teams are learning as they go.
Yeah, guys, what can Haas do? What can they? This is now a learning curve for next season, surely, Jamie, right?
Yeah, I think that's the thing. You can take a lot from this year. It's been a building year for them, and I think next year, hit the ground running, start strong, and then I think if you can start strong, then it makes the rest of the year a lot easier.
OK, and finally, Jolien, obviously for Floris's confidence, you can only build from here.
Yeah, absolutely. It is, the guys that are winning generally have been doing this a while. Freddy Rasmussen was already a race winner last year. Brendan Lee's pretty experienced now as well. It takes time to get up to speed when such tiny margins are making the difference, really.
OK, Circuit of the Americas. Let's have a little look at the grid. No better place to start the improvement for Floris Faes. Talk us through this, gentlemen. This is how things start.
Yeah, Freddy Rasmussen, again, we every single time he's near the front, and Tonitza as well, you know, obviously pole position much better than 4th, but still very much in the fight. Brendan Lee, again, you know, he's there or thereabouts. He's picking up the pace, which is great to see. And then you've got Jarno Oxman around 9th again. I think he was 10th in the last race. So it just seems to be the same kind of trends every single time.
Carreton was pole, now he's down in 10th, so he's the one that's a bit out of place there, maybe needs to do a bit of work. And then Vager's down in 16th.
Oh, Lucas Blakely down in 17th after such a strong performance.
Hey now, don't write him off.
I'm not writing him off, I'm just saying he's got a lot of work to do.
Oh, of course, there's a lot of homework as well, and unfortunately, Amos Lurito down there at the end. Listen, Jolien, what's happened? I'm going to have a word with management, but we've put you there. Jamie's gone up to the comms. Are you going to be all right?
I'll be fine.
OK, perfect. All right, Matt, Jolien, stick around with me. Let's head up to the casters. Davide Vasecki, Jack Nichols, and, of course, Jamie Chadwick. How's it up there?
It's great up here. I think we're in for one of Palmer's best commentaries coming up for you now. So here we go. Are you looking forward to this one, Jamie? You know much about Circuit of the Americas?
A little bit, yeah. I'm excited. I think the racing's going to be a bit better than maybe we saw at Suzuka. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, some big opportunities around this circuit. Let's take a look at it. Davide, where are the key points on this circuit?
True. The main straight when there is the checker flag, and then the very long straight with a very hard break just at the end of straight. Look, the DRS zone, and then down there, left corner, 90 degrees. Easy place to overtake and very long to use the DRS. So, will be extreme the race here, and probably the pole position doesn't count so much.
Okay, so it is Freddy Rasmussen who has that pole position, who's looking for another victory. Daniel Berejne alongside him on the front row. All 5 lights are on. And eventually, after quite a long hold, we're racing in Austin. Decent getaway from Freddy Rasmussen. The Alfa Romeo is coming with him. Look at Tanitsa trying to get up the inside of the McLaren of Enzo Benito. Not quite able to do so. Brendan Lee coming around the outside. There's a bit of contact. They're almost 3 wide. And Berejne's been shuffled back. Enzo Benito in the McLaren up to second place. They're going to be 3 wide coming into the S's now. And Rasmussen holds the lead. Benito in second. Tanitsa, is he in third? Berejne is going side by side with him. And I think the Hungarian might have just got it in the Alpha. No, he's off and wide. And he'd have to slot him behind. And Brendan Lee, his teammate from last year at Mercedes, goes around the outside of him up into turn 9. So a frantic start. Rasmussen has the lead. It's still not all over here because Weigang is going up the inside in the Renault, trying to get past Brendan Lee, and he's done it. And Brendan Lee's on the grass, coming back onto the circuit. David Tanitsa is close to Enzo Benito over the front. Yeah, a bit more action than Suzuka already.
Very aggressive Tanitsa at the start, and maybe he's going to try on the inside. Yeah! Oh, Bonito is being surprised. He didn't close the door. And look at Tanitsa. You know, the Italians are very tough. It's not easy to beat him, because at the start was very aggressive. He took the advantage on Berejne and now on Bonito. At the end of the main straight, fantastic move and very deep break. Well done.
Tough and loud. Tough and loud Italians, probably. I would say. That's what I would suggest. So Rasmussen leading, Tanitsa second. But crucially, as we saw in the last race, Jamie, Rasmussen has that lead, and he'll try and pull away now.
I was about to say, it looked like he had a dream getaway there. Perfect first lap, but Tanitsa looks like he's already putting a shift in to get up on terms with him. So, yeah, it's not going to be easy for Rasmussen to get away, especially around this track.
We are on board with the Renault of Simon Weigang, the 21-year-old from Germany, who made his debut in the F1 Esports Pro Series last time out, or in the last race evening. And we're on board with him in 5th place, which is a good effort, trying to close down on Brendan Lee, who's in 4th position, which he's not really had a super strong season. Brendan Lee finished 2nd in Monaco earlier in the year, in Montreal earlier in the year, but that's about as good as it's been for the 2-times champion on lap 2 of 14. Rasmussen leading out of DRS range of Tanitsa at the moment, even though DRS isn't open yet.
Disaster first lap for Berejne. That was starting from the first row, outside line. He tried to fight to maintain the leadership at the first break, but he didn't pay, and now he dropped down to 6th. So not an easy one, not an easy start for him.
Yeah, he kept being hung out on the outside here. You don't want to be caught on the outside, especially. It's so easy to be pushed off wide, and he just kept getting pushed off and off until now he's down already in P6.
Bono Huis, the Dutchman, is in the McLaren, and he's just lost out to Cem Bolek Bassi up at turn 11, and now Bolek Bassi is in front and into the final points paying position. Bono Huis, multiple Formula Sim racing champion back in the day. 10 years since he started winning races in sim racing, Bono Huis, and he's in 11th place at the moment. The man from Maastricht, and he's coming into the final corner now at turn 20. Rasmussen's lead is 1.2 seconds ahead of David Tanitsa, with Enzo Benito less than a second behind, and then you've got Brendan Lee in 4th, and this is looking like a close battle on the circuit as Joni Tormala is trying to get past Bono Huis. Huis on a different strategy here. Jana Wapmir, Bono Huis, and a couple of the others are the ones on the medium compounded tyre.
It's not easy in this sector, because you need to follow the car in front of you, but you lose downforce because you are too close, but you need to stay there to prepare the main straight and to try to find the attack. Rasmussen is flying away. Look at the gap, 1.4 seconds. He's opening the gap on Tanitsa, that usually is very aggressive in the first part of the race, but well done. Rasmussen is very low, and seems the man at the moment.
Yeah, Tanitsa's made up 2 places, so he is still, you know, closing in and making an advantage. But as it stands, Rasmussen would close the gap at the top of the championship down to 8 points. Let's hear from Enzo Benito.
So quick on a straight.
So quick on the straight. Come on, Enzo is the cheer. And we got a few cheers. Nice. Lap 3 of 14. Rasmussen leading the way. Tonitza second. And this is Enzo Benito in third position for McLaren Shadow. The Italian racer who had a up and down season really last year. He had a couple of sixth places to start the season in Bahrain and Austria, but looking to get on the podium here, the 24-year-old.
Already in the box, Tonitza.
Okay.
Probably the first one having the pit stop. Seems that he was struggling maybe with the tires, and he decided to change the strategy, because look at him, can be crucial. The last race he lost the momentum when he had the pit stop. Today he just decided to stop earlier than the rivals, and we'll see if it's going to pay off.
Going for the undercut here, Tonitza come out on the fresher medium tyres and try and lap quicker than Freddy Rasmussen out in front. Is he going to be in clear air? Looks like he's got a nice big chunk of clear air there,
That's a
actually.
nice strategy there. I think strategy is going to play a big role in this. Tyres are difficult round here. This first sector is really hard on those front tyres, so I think it's going to be interesting to see how the guys that are on the medium tyre are going to pan out at the very end on the soft tyre as well.
And this is Lucas Blakely battling with Jan Fehler. Now, Blakely got a podium, his first podium in the last race. He's going side by side with the Haas driver Fehler now through the S's. Nicely done from Lucas Blakely. And he started this race down in 17th position. Didn't have the sort of pace that he showed last time out in Suzuka, but he's made up a place. Ooh. And he's 19th. There's some dramatic action. Alvaro Caraton and Patrick Holtzman going side by side down into turn 12. Caraton is ahead of Holtzman then, up into 4th place, but all these drivers up at the front are yet to pit. We'll see if Freddy Rasmussen pits this time around. And this is Holtzman that we're watching, dropping back a little bit now behind Alvaro Caraton, another driver who had a strong performance last time out, although he slipped to 5th, didn't he, in the closing stages.
Probably Rasmussen is going to pit just to respond to, look at him.
Oh, Davide, you're so clever.
No, I mean, he just tried to cover the position on Tonitza that is pushing and is pulling fastest lap on fastest lap. So to save the position, medium tires, just to be safe, new and now free air, just to try to respond to this man that seems very aggressive today.
Here comes David Tonitza then in the Ferrari up towards turn 1. Keep your eyes peeled for the Red Bull coming out of the pit lane. Is Tonitza going to have a chance at getting near the Red Bull? Here he comes up into the left-hander of turn 1, and I think he's still behind Freddy Rasmussen by quite a way, actually. Doesn't even look like he's in shot there, Freddy Rasmussen. There he is, just disappearing into the S's now, so he has got a commanding lead.
Two things very important. He's quick, very quick, and then he's very clever on the pit stop, Rasmussen, because before and just now he just made the perfect strategy, and he took the advantage on Tonitza, so he's making the difference on that one.
He's got 1 lap newer tyres, at least.
I think Oxman is the person to worry about, though. Obviously started on the medium. If he can extend that run out and be quick on the softs at the end of the race, I think that's going to be his worry for Rasmussen.
Jarno Oxman in the Renault. These guys, Freddy Rasmussen now the net race leader down in 10th place there. There you can see all the drivers that have pitted. Jarno Oxman up at the front, just 0.2 of a second ahead of Cem Bolek-Bassi. And this is Bolek-Bassi that we're watching battling with Oxman. So this is what could cause Oxman's strategy to come undone.
But still on the softs, whereas Oxman's on the medium. So if he can extend that out a bit longer and then head out on the softs to be quick at the end of the race, that's going to be interesting.
On board with Cem Bolek-Bassi, who's tested a few real-life racing cars in the past, raced an F3 car, and into the pits he comes, and he slows down. So Oxman now in some clear air with no one hassling him. We'll see what sort of lap times he can set. Tino Nakarinen goes through, and into the pit lane comes Bolek-Bassi now. We'll see where he emerges as well in that whole Rasmussen, Benito, and Brendan Lee. He's still in with a shot of a decent result here. He's up into 12th place, and I think he's just coming past in that train of cars. So this is Freddy Rasmussen, the net race leader. Tonitza 2nd, Benito 3rd, Brendan Lee 4th, as it stands in the grand scheme of things, although we're still yet to see Jarno Oxman pit. He's doing the same strategy as Bono Huis, who is 2 seconds further back, so I don't think Huis is quite as much in the fight as Jarno Oxman is. 1.8 seconds between Oxman and Huis. Freddy Rasmussen, 2.2 seconds ahead of David Tonitza. If you were to say, coming into this race, or looking at this race, which drivers dominated the year, you'd think it was Rasmussen.
Yeah, you're right. He's been so confident so far because he's getting result, he's getting pole position, he's getting fantastic choice on the pit stop strategy. I mean, he's the perfect driver at the moment. He needs to extend it at the end of this race and to the last final round because the victory is there. There's a big fight between him and Tunizza.
Now this is the battle for third place. Ultimately, we're on board with Brendan Lee, who you can see down there in the bottom left, focused, moving himself around in the cockpit as he turns to the left and then quick through the next two right-handers at 17 and 18. And he's in a net fourth place at the moment with Benito in third, Tunizza in second and Rasmussen in the lead. So this is very much a fight for position as they come onto the final left-hander and out over the line again. As we look at Daniele Haddad doing battle with Beers in the Haas. Neither of these two have pitted. They're fighting for positions lower back in the order, and it's Enzo Laurito behind them in the other Ferrari. So nothing, not David Tunizza getting bogged down in this backmarker traffic, who have yet to make a pit stop. Rasmussen leading in 8th place as it stands. Tunizza second, Benito third, then Lee, Berejne, Caraton and Weigang, the rest of the front runners to have made their pit stop. Lap 7 of 14. Half race distance.
Very important this exit because it's the end of the middle sector. Important this exit because there is a very long straight where you can use the stream and then open the DRS. And look at him, did you saw him? He's moving away, trying to not give the advantage to the rival, but
it's a sitting duck though. Oh,
Beers covers the ins. Haddad goes for the dummy and makes the move into turn 12.
He missed it. Was a Ricciardo move, did you saw him? Outside and then surprise him on the inside, but he just missed the break. He was too optimistic.
That was very close to being a lovely move.
Completely the right idea, though. You could see the Haas was just trying to cover him, and he had the right idea, but just didn't quite make it stick on the brakes.
So now he's going to be under pressure. Daniele Haddad from Laurito, who we're on board with here. Freddy Rasmussen is behind them as Amos Laurito, the 23-year-old Italian.
Oh, and he's dived into the pits.
Okay, so into the pits then. And that clears up the space a little bit for Laurito. This is Enzo Benito in the McLaren, and he is under quite a bit of pressure now from Brendan Lee. Once again, this is over a net third place as they come across the line. Some of the front runners, Opmeer and Huis and the like, really staying out a long time on these medium tyres. But now we've got Tunizza, Benito and Lee, second, third and fourth, ultimately, right together on the circuit. And Brendan Lee, reigning champion, and he's almost just got to fight for pride, I suppose, here.
His performance this race, Brendan Lee. Usually this season we saw him some up and down, but he was never fighting for the top position. But look at him here. Seems that he's stronger than the car before, but it's not easy because also Enzo Benito has the DRS on Tunizza in front of him, and so it's not easy to have the extra speed for Brendan Lee and to try the attack on the main straight.
We saw Laurito being given a 3-second time penalty. We're on board here with Enzo Benito, who could challenge David Tunizza coming down into the left-hander, and he doesn't really cover the inside line, and through goes Enzo Benito, up into second place.
Well done, Benito, very well done. I didn't get why Tunizza didn't close this door, because, I mean, he saw him from behind, taking the slipstream and covered the line. I didn't get why he didn't cover the line, but Benito used perfectly the exit of the corner and the extra speed on the main straight. He took back the second position.
Is he trying to be safe for the championship, maybe?
Yeah, but you know, you have Rasmussen that is winning. You need to be aggressive. Oh, he knows something that we don't know, but in theory, looks like a little mistake from my point of view.
How much do you take it steady when you're leading championships, or not at all?
I wouldn't say at all, but I'm probably a bit hypocritical when I say that. I think you always have it in the back of your mind, but the ones that win the championships, the ones that can take that out and still race competitively for the win. I think he's really got to stay on terms now with Benito to try and get him back with the DRS zone. I think it's difficult with this long straight to try and defend. As much as Davide said he could have covered it, it would have been a bit harder to keep him behind for the rest of the race if he was sat behind him. So he needs to stay on terms with him now, get the DRS into the next zone and maybe make another move back.
Tunizza's just been given a 3-second time penalty, though. It just popped up at the bottom of the screen for exceeding track limits too many times. Cembolak Bassi's just picked one up as well, but that could be big for David Tunizza's championship.
Probably knew it.
Yeah.
I mean, probably knew it. He didn't cover the line because he knew that Benito was going to be penalized, probably.
Yeah, maybe. Lap 9 of 14. as they come down the back straight. Tonitza is right back with Benito.
Backed out of a move there.
Doesn't quite fancy it coming into that left-hander.
He's got to get his head down. If he's got a 3-second penalty, he needs to get ahead and get his head down and try and make as much time up as he can so the damage is limited.
There is the Italian in the bottom right, battling with Benito over second place. Ultimately, still quite a lot of the drivers, Oxman, Sautung, Fias, Lorito, yet to pit. So Freddy Rasmussen still in the net lead of the race, 2.7 seconds now, ahead of second place, Enzo Benito. Those guys still staying out there. Rasmussen's problem is he's getting caught up a little, although Vias pits now. He's getting caught up a little behind Enzo Lorito. As soon as I say that, they all pit, so it doesn't even matter anymore. But we are on lap 10 of 14. On board with Brendan Lee.
Oh!
Late one from Lee, and there's a bit of contact. Front wheel to side pod, and Tonitza gets away with it. Lee's not hanging around, is he?
I love him. Was almost impossible, but he did it anyway. Well done, Brendan Lee. It was impossible. There was no space. It was too far away, but he did it.
They both did well there not to crash into each other. Brendan Lee could have very easily locked up and taken him out there.
Trying to take out the championship leaders.
That's the Italian mafia right there.
The only reason he stayed out is to do that. Trying to take me out.
Nah, not take you out, but slow you down. But it's desperate.
Okay, so that is Rasmussen complaining about Amos Lorito in front of him, who's in the Ferrari, has yet to pit. He's the only driver yet to pit, and he's trying to hold up Freddy Rasmussen. Rasmussen then goes to the outside. Lorito is late on the brakes. These two not battling over position, but Rasmussen gets it done. Really impressive there, because Rasmussen has been, you know, a little bit timid at times, but he knew he couldn't be involved in a scrap with a second Ferrari.
He changed his mind, because, you know, he covered the inside line, Lorito, and Rasmussen did it on the outside. I mean, seems much more aggressive, seems much more confident, and he has this self-confidence that before, earlier in the season, he didn't have, and he's going to pay because he's winning again and again today.
So into the pits there goes Lorito, and he finally comes in as they start lap 11 of 14. Leading the way is Frederick Rasmussen for the Red Bull Racing Esports team. Enzo Benito in the McLaren Shadow is in second place. At the moment, Tonitza is in third, but he has a 3-place time penalty for exceeding track limits, so that would promote Brendan Lee into the podium places.
Do you know where?
Do I know where what?
Where he exceeded the track limit.
It was for multiple warnings somewhere.
They risked too much.
There's a lot of places you can do it, actually, at Circuit of the Americas. The famous one is, what is it, 19?
Yeah, because there are asphalt escape road everywhere, so it's easy to go over the white line with the 4 wheels.
Yellow flag.
Yeah, someone's having trouble out there in between sectors 1 and sector 2, so that's pretty much just coming down the hill. Yellow flag goes away. This is Jarno Oxman we're watching now. He has pitted, as we said, very late in the day, and now is on very soft, very fresh, soft tyres.
I'm putting an outside bet on him making a podium place here. I reckon he's going to be on a full charge now.
Okay, so Jarno Oxman, 7th at the moment. Remember, the penalty still to come from David Tonitza, so if he can get ahead of the likes of Alvaro Caraton in front of him, Joni Todemöller giving a 3-second time penalty there for multiple warnings as well, down in 9th place, which isn't going to be ideal for Red Bull, but as it stands, they will wrap up the team's championship with this result, with Freddy Rasmussen winning, and that will take home the prize money for the Red Bull team. But here comes Jarno Oxman all over the back of Alvaro Caraton up into turn 20. Does he fancy the move there? He's got so much more grip on the exit of the corners, hasn't he?
Yeah, now he has the use of the DRS in this straight. I know that he's short, but the DRS starts immediately after the corner and he's close enough to try the attack. He's doing perfectly. Try it, you're close. He did it.
Up the inside goes Jarno Oxman in the Renault into 6th place. He's got so much more grip than those around him, but how far can he progress? He's 7 tenths behind Hungarian Daniel Berezsny, and then he's about a second or so behind Brendan Lee in third. Well, a net 3rd place once Tonitza gets his penalty at the moment, because this would drop Tonitza down to around about 6th place, a 3-second time penalty. So what can the charging Jarno Oxman do? We're watching Enzo Benito in the bottom right there. In the bottom left was David Tonitza as they battle over 2nd place. Benito hasn't got it easy. Here comes Oxman, though, right up behind Berezsny.
And again, DRS and Berezsny doesn't have it, so he can make the difference in this break. Seems that
quite far back.
Yeah, he doesn't have the extra speed to take the advantage on the main straight, and he lost the chance, but look the grip that he's going to have now.
Into the two. Oh, almost touching the back of the Alfa Romeo. Now maybe up the double left-hander.
Great move.
Whoa! What an aggressive move! That is fantastic. He's the driver of the day.
Jarno Oxman up into 5th place then, and now just Brendan Lee stands between he and ultimately a podium once David Tonitza's penalty is applied. In they come to the final left-hander to start the penultimate lap of the race.
Still got 2 laps to go. I reckon he's going to fly through these guys.
Here we come then up towards turn 1, and the Renault yellow and black coming into turn 1 now is the car to watch, although Tonitza's looking racy to try and get past Benito, which might give him, you know, the extra place or so once the 3-second time penalty is applied.
Yeah, struggling a bit now, Bonito. Seems that he's not pulling away anymore like he did before, and he's a bit under pressure on Tonitza that seems a bit stronger behind him. I mean, it's crucial now for Tonitza to try to take this position, because it's the mistake that he needs to avoid. You are leading the championship, you cannot use the extra part of the circuit and take three penalty position. I mean, it's the mistake that he needs to avoid. Now he needs to take the position of Bonito like he did in the previous race.
Lap 13 of 14, you can see Benito weaving around to try and lose the slipstream. Here comes Jarno Oxman behind Brendan Lee into turn 12. He's got to go for it all. Lee gets over and covers the inside just about. Goes in a little bit deep.
Whoa!
Oxman now to the outside. Can't quite get through around there. He went up the inside into this double left a few laps ago. Does he try the same move? He does. Lee sees it coming and the two have a little bit of a nudge.
Another one! That man is fantastic. I mean, he always finds a space to try to put his nose into the hole. It's just fantastic. I mean, the race strategy that he has in the last few laps, it was just amazing. And now again on Tonitza, I mean, he's the quickest in the track at the moment. He's very low, and he has these special skills on the overtake. Fantastic. Oxman.
Final lap of the race. That was a forceful one from Oxman as well, wasn't it? Because it looked as though Brendan Lee had it covered.
Yeah, it was well defended initially by Brendan Lee, but yeah, Oxman had him sized up from the lap before, and great move.
He's almost smiling, isn't he, as he drives through the S's there, Jarno Oxman. Really strong performance from the Renault driver who has won a race earlier this year. Here he comes now.
We need to remember that the next one doesn't give to him any position. I mean, Tonitza is already penalized and he's going to finish behind him anyway. I hope that his radio man is going to tell him because try to avoid any mistake.
But Rasmussen out in front is going to really cut away at the championship lead. He's out 2.8 seconds ahead of Enzo Benito. Down the back straight they come for the final time. Does Tonitza fancy a look at Benito? Little bit of a think about it, but not quite close enough. Jarno Oxman there in 4th place. Will try and get past the Ferrari driver. Looks to the outside as he comes up to the double left where he's had so much success in the past. Does Tonitza cover it? He doesn't, and they can't quite get it done this time. Jarno Oxman for the 3rd time in a row trying to get through, not quite able to, and Tonitza is in 3rd, but it's Rasmussen out front.
Freddy,
yeah, he should know the pace is his anyway. Didn't need to make that move, but
it has been a pleasure with both of you. I'm proud of you guys. Red Bull Racing is proud. You are Formula One Esports World Champion. Congrats, guys.
Not bad.
Freddy Rasmussen across the line to seal the team's championship for the Red Bull team with those results. Benito in 2nd, Oxman in 3rd in the end. David Tonitza's penalty drops him down to 6th place. I think Jarno Oxman's attack on Brendan Lee is under investigation, so we'll see whether anything changes in the result there. Berejne 5th, but Freddy Rasmussen, Davide, he is the man tonight.
He's the quickest, and he's doing everything perfectly. I mean, the start, the strategy, the lap time, he's doing everything in perfect way. So, fantastic job from Rasmussen, and now he's the real contender for the victory.
So there is Freddy Rasmussen, who is now very, very close with David Tonitza at the top of the championship, depending on where the ultimate finish positions are, which was Tonitza down in 6th place. Jamie, you had your sights on Jarno Oxman. He's nailed it.
Well, I think it was just the split strategy there that threw us all. But yeah, no, great drive from him. I think coming through at the end on the softs, really proved to be dividends whilst they're all holding each other up. So, yeah, it was a great race.
Yeah, very entertaining. So Freddy Rasmussen, the man of the moment. Red Bull wrap up the team's championship. That's where the money is at stake. But now it's very, very close in the Drivers' Championship as we go down to the final race of the season. Let's catch up with Freddy Rasmussen with Rosanna Tennant.
Freddy and Jonny, congratulations. Red Bull have won the Constructors' Championship. What emotions are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling very relieved.
Very relieved. And Jonny, what about you?
I'm really, really happy. Really happy. That was the goal when we started the season, and we did it.
And the goal was also to shave off your moustache if you won. So is that going to be happening soon?
Yeah, it's going to happen tonight.
Someone fetch a razor. Freddie, another commanding performance from you. You lead the drivers' standings as well. How are you feeling about your overall performance so far this season?
It's been all right. There's a couple of races where I lost my front wing, which was not my fault, so it could have been better, but I'm happy with what I've done, and yeah.
It seems like it's gone pretty well for you, Freddie. Congratulations.
Thank you.
David, not the result you were after there, I imagine. What happened on that last lap?
Yeah, of course, I'm not really happy. In the start, I managed to overtake Danny, and I was second, I think, so I had a really good start. Then I had to save a lot of fuel, so I let Enzo by, and then, yeah, in the end, I cut a bit too much, and I got a 3-second time penalty, so, yeah, I ended up P3 on track, but P6 on the standings.
And what's the plan for Sao Paulo now? Do you think you can snatch back the Drivers' Championship?
Yeah, I'm really confident, so I will give my absolute best, and let's see what happens.
Good luck.
Thank you.
I love that chat with the Red Bull guys. You wouldn't think they'd just won hundreds of thousands of dollars. Anyway, let's talk about Jarno Oxman, the man of the race, and some of the brilliant overtakes that he did over the course of this race. First up was Daniel Perezne, his first. I mean, this is just scintillating. It's a great sequence of corners and one that really kind of promotes good overtaking and good racing. This next one, Jarno Oxman, he's already got Lee on the defensive. He's not trying to get past in that corner. He's just setting him up beautifully. And Lee, he's always on the back foot, and this one though, I don't know about that. That is a little bit aggressive in my opinion, because look at Lee, he's sent off into God knows where, and I don't know, I feel like the stewards should have had a look at that one, and so that Jarno Oxman, overall though, brilliant race from him. And let's have a look at David Tonitza. Well, is the pressure getting to him? I think so, just a little bit. We haven't seen this from him before, although that's a corner cut. But it's quite difficult to see. I think it's more the back right that's cut the corner there, because you have to keep two wheels on the track at all times, the black stuff. And here, this is where the penalty is dished out again. I mean, it is fine lines. If I can just rewind that ever so slightly and then pause. There we go. I mean, that is pretty much on the line, but unfortunately 1 millimetre over it, and that is a 3-second time penalty for David Tonitza. Rasmussen now leads the Drivers' Championship, and he's a sweaty man. So let's see who is going to win the Drivers' Championship.
Yeah, he is indeed a sweaty man. Thank you very much to Matt. I will chat to Jamie and Jolene in just a second about that penalty, but let's confirm the race results for you guys at home, and actually to everybody in the studio here at the Gfinity Arena. One more race on the way, but as you can see, Freddy Rasmussen getting that win with 25 points, and then the second half of that, Jonny Tomala, teammate further down, and of course, Chambulik Bassi not managing to finish on that one. Right then, what does that mean for the Drivers' Championship? Well, it pretty much means it is coming down to that last race. 4 points ahead now of David Tonitza in the Ferrari. Fredrik Rasmussen, even his face there is no emotion. He knows exactly what he needs to do, Mr. Consistent. And let's have a look at the team drivers, and there you have it. You can see at the top, the Red Bull cannot be caught in the team standings. So congratulations to the Red Bull Racing Esports. A magnificent title for them. Listen, guys, we've got to talk about it. Fantastic work, the comms. Jamie, what did you make of that penalty? Even you were biting your lip a little bit of how it seemed a bit unfair, that one.
We didn't quite catch it in comms, but just watching it just there, I thought it was a bit harsh. I think that's the nature of the game. You can't really get away with maybe as much as us real racing drivers can get away with. But yeah, I think it was a little bit harsh. It was tough, obviously, on him to get a 3-second penalty because it was so close that really popped him back. But yeah, I guess it's the name of the game, and yeah, it's one of those circuits, it lures you in to exceed track limits a bit too much.
Yeah, and I love the way you said it was going to be an exciting race. It definitely lived up to that. Jolien, what did you make of that penalty? And also, Freddy Rasmussen, the Red Bull have won the team franchise championship, but it's neck and neck now, 4 points of difference.
Yeah, he's the man with a bit of pressure now. I think Tanitsa may be struggling with the pressure a little bit. I have to say the penalty reminded me of the Canada race, when actually Rasmussen got a penalty from the win for going over the white line on the pit exit. Again, that was with a microscope and it was deemed pretty harsh. It goes both ways. So maybe it's evened itself out. 4 points the difference. Pressure on both of them is absolutely huge.
Perfect. Well, listen, guys, I hope you got your passports. We're off to Brazil now. Well, we've had 2 great races so far today. The Constructors' Trophy has been sewn up, but the Drivers' Trophy is still all to play for. Will it be a double celebration for Freddy Rasmussen, or will David Tanitsa come back to take the title? It's a pleasure to have you along for Event 2 of the New Balance F1 Esports Pro Series 2019. If Event 1 is anything to go by, then we are in for one hell of an evening.
Let's get on with the first race. 2 Renaults sweep around the outside and into first and second place.
He tried on the outside, almost impossible there.
Rasmussen, who takes the victory after the 3-second time penalty for Tino Nakarinen.
It's been busy down in the adjudication room, with more penalties having been applied, including a 3-second penalty for Rasmussen, which means the final standings for race 1 look like this.
You're actually the winner. How do you feel?
I feel amazing. I did not expect this at all.
4-5 lights are on. We're racing in Russia.
Is
He's
it?
on the brakes and he's done it.
What's
Oh, he's taken 2.
2?
Tanitsa holds it, covers it off. They bang wheels. Rasmussen looks all the way around the outside, but he can't do it. Tonzilla is back and he takes victory across the line in Austria. All 5 lights are on and we're racing at Silverstone. Gotta go all the way around the outside.
He's in! Come on, believe in yourself. Yes, Rasmussen, he did it.
Is this going to be the move for Kiefer from the lead of the race? He goes for it. Bowled up the inside into Stowe. Kiefer leads for Racing Point. And for the first time, he wins in the F1 Esports Pro Series.
It's about damn time. I was waiting for the win already a couple of weeks. I'm just really happy that it happened.
The Pro Series is nothing if not dramatic. Having led from the first race of the season, David Tanitsa suddenly finds himself chasing with just 1 race to go after Freddy Rasmussen took his 3rd win of the season to give Red Bull the title with a race to spare.
I'm feeling very relieved. It could have been better, but I'm happy with what I've done.
Welcome back. Come and join us down here, Jamie, Jolien Palmer, and of course Matt Gallagher here. Listen, the driver's title all to play for, 4 points separating Freddy Rasmussen and David Tanitsa. Let's talk about this last race and what we go into Interlagos. What can we expect from the track? And who's your money on at this stage, guys?
God, I think...
Putting you on the spot, Jamie.
I know. Well, if days go by anything, I think the way I look at it is it's all about momentum. And obviously, the momentum's been with Tanitsa all year, but suddenly now it's thrown into Rasmussen's hands. And I think now, the way the day's going, if he can just keep that momentum going, keep the confidence high, then I don't want to say it's his to lose because that just puts a load of pressure on him, but it is sort of in his hands to take the title.
Yeah, now, Matt said earlier on, not the most... in terms of drivers, he's very consistent, not going for the flamboyant. Freddy Rasmussen has the mental side going into this, doesn't he?
He's esports version of the Iceman. It's just absolutely the same, whatever the scenario. So, championship leader, is he going to feel the pressure? Probably not. It's just another race, and he's just got to beat Tanitsa. That's basically it for him.
And when we look at that qualifying, obviously we need to update everybody on what happened in qualifying. Matt, obviously at the top, David Tanitsa in pole. Freddy Rasmussen, just to add a bit of flavour to this, is down in 7th. So really, you might say it's now David Tanitsa's to potentially lose.
Absolutely. You know, he is in the prime position. It was a very hectic qualifying. They only got 1 flying lap in before it then started to rain, and therefore there was no other laps to be had. And Freddy wasn't originally going to race, and now he is racing, so he hasn't done the same practice as maybe he would have done had he known right at the start he was going to do it. So he's definitely in the back seat compared to Tanitsa, who's on pole. He can sort of just orchestrate the whole race from there. whether or not you'll have the likes of the other guys on the front row and the row behind just giving it some because it's the last race of the season.
Yeah.
See
what happens. It is all very exciting. Right then, we go to that last race. Let's have a look at the grid and how things are starting up for us. Well, there you go. David Tanitsa in first place. Daniel Berezny in second. Point to prove and maybe build towards next season.
Absolutely. He is going to want to win this race and finish 2019 on a high. Daniele Haddad, that must be his highest qualifying, in third as well. Sally Sautunk, great little qualifying from him as well. So Alpha looking strong to make some moves in this final race. Freddy Rasmussen down in seventh, which is very disappointing for him, but he still was only 2/10 off pole, so anything can happen. It's going to be an absolute train. I think there's going to have to be some moves, Tom, because, you know, we've seen Freddy so cool, calm, collected, but he is going to have to make some moves.
Yeah, OK. Well, listen, guys, Jamie, Matt, get comfy because we're about to go to that third race. I'm excited, as I'm sure you are as well. So go up to the casters. Jolyon, quick as a flash, is up there with Davide and Jack Nicholls.
He threw to you. You've got to talk.
Oh, hello. We're ready for the race. I feel like I've just come out of the sim bin. I'm back in action for the finale.
Exactly. Replaced you with a multiple champion. So we are about to get going with the final race of the season. Sao Paulo. You love it, Davide?
Yeah, fantastic circuit. Not easy to overtake there, so it will be not so easy like the previous race. Not an easy jump for Rasmussen, because who surprised everyone? Tanitsa with a fantastic pole position.
Yeah, this is you're loving this. This is going to be a really, really entertaining race. So to recap, David Tanitsa trails Freddy Rasmussen by 4 points in the Drivers' Championship. 25 points up on to offer. Tanitsa is on pole. Rasmussen is in seventh. The final race of the 2019 F1 New Balance Esports Pro Series. It's a long hold, and it's underway. Tanitsa gets away nicely, moves over towards the inside to cover off Daniel Berezny. Daniele Haddad up the inside from a long way back into the center S. Almost a little bit of a touch there. Freddy Rasmussen is still holding on to his seventh position in the Red Bull, in between Weigang and Caraton, but Tanitsa holds the lead. Berezny second, Haddad third, as they fan out down towards the Ciro del Lago, the downhill left-hander at turn 4, and there's a move from Joni Tormala in the other Red Bull. Freddy Rasmussen is still in there behind the Renault of Weigang as they come up into the quick left-hander at the top of the hill for the first time. Then it starts to slow down, then dropping into the left-hander at Pinheirino, and it is Tanitsa leading ahead of Berezny. Tormala in fifth, Freddy Rasmussen still in seventh place. How important is it to get a move on early for Rasmussen?
Very important, is crucial, because he needs to take position in the track to be in a fight for the victory before just the pit stop. But what a start for Tanitsa, that he just pulled away perfectly, and he covered immediately the line just to save his first position at the moment.
Worth pointing out as well, Freddy Rasmussen on the medium compound of tyres, so he's gone for a different strategy. Here they come down into the centre S, and Tanitsa's under pressure from Berezny in the Alfa Romeo. Berezny, the Hungarian, tries to swing around the outside, and that's a great move! The Alfa into the lead. Tanitsa drops to second in the Ferrari, and Daniele Haddad is in third place. Straight into the pits comes Freddy Rasmussen. So he is going aggressive on the strategy to move to the softs. To the outside now goes Tanitsa to try and get back past ahead of Berezny, but he can't do it. We got a long 18-lap race on our hands.
Verstappen move on the outside at the first break. Berezny was just spectacular. That move was special.
Yeah, perfect on the break. So easy to just go wide, or Tanitsa try and hold him out, hang him out to dry. But really good stuff. And then he had to defend in turn 4 as well, because there's another long straight down there. But he's managed to make the move stick. Now we're going to have the shoe on the other foot, though. Tanitsa in behind Berezny, just one corner to go. This one is flat out. Then it's the final corner. And then the long straight again. Is it going to be role reversal?
No DRS yet. About to start lap 3 of 18. The closest driver is probably Sautunk here. He is right up behind. A good qualifying from Sally Sautunk in fourth place. Both Alfa Romeos in the top 4. Can Sally Sautunk get a move here on Daniele Haddad? We're on board with Tanitsa into turn 1. A little look in the mirrors shows that the Racing Point is still there in second position with Haddad there, sorry, in the third position with Sally Sautunk right behind. Here they come again down into the Ciro del Lago. Sautunk really weaving around in the mirrors. Nothing doing yet. Joni Tormala, Caraton, Lee and Rasmussen are the drivers that pitted in the early stages. So we'll keep an eye out on Rasmussen and his progress up the order. But as it stands, with a long way to go, David Tonitsa would win the championship.
I'm a bit worried for Rasmussen because he pitted the first lap, but was not the only one to decide for it. I mean, in the pit went 5 or 6 other drivers, and he's been hauled a bit in the pit stop. And look at him, he's just behind Holtzman, that he was behind him just before the pit stop. So not an easy condition for Rasmussen. Holtzman just surprised him.
Still in the same traffic he was in before he pitted, basically, Freddy Rasmussen. Lap 3 of 18. And this is the man leading the championship, and he's down in 15th place at the moment after 2 spectacular wins in the last 2 races. Across the line comes Daniel Berejne to set the fastest lap of the race. Half a second ahead of David Tonitsa, half a second ahead of Daniele Haddad. Blakely and Giglioli are into the pits now on lap 4 of 18. But Berejne it is, out in front. What's Rasmussen up to? Here he comes. He's up behind Patrick Holtzman. He's got the DRS. He's up behind his sort of teammate at Scuderia Toro Rosso, but he's not able to get through just yet, and no progress being made up the order from Freddy Rasmussen as it stands.
He missed a bit the point in the break there. He just missed a bit the first break, and he's getting in trouble because look, he needs to defend the position, and he's not progressing as he was expecting. And not an easy condition for him. Look, soft compound, 16 laps to go. Today is hard for him.
This has been a disastrous start. That's Lucas Blakely just behind, who started in 11th. Rasmussen started 7th. So even though he's had a pit stop, he's actually been shuffled down the order. At least for him, Tonitsa's been passed for the lead, but that's still enough for Tonitsa to be champion. He just basically needs to beat him at this point, and there's a lot of cars in between.
Yeah, Tormala started 5th, Rasmussen 7th, Holtzman 9th, and Caraton in 8th. And now the order they're in is Tormala, Caraton, Holtzman, Rasmussen. So he has lost out a net 2 positions so far. We're on board with David Tonitsa in 2nd place. No real stress from him, and it is obviously I'm underselling that massively, but in terms of imminent needing to do something, it's fairly relaxed at the moment for Tonitsa. And they do have radios this year, so they do have as we've been hearing, a team in the background underneath the stage basically watching the race and informing the drivers of what they need to be doing. And I tell you what, Lucas Blakely's pretty close to the back of Freddy Rasmussen here and almost close enough to make a move. Does not, but that is the order that they're in at the moment, further back in the field with Berejne, Tonitsa, Haddad, Sautunk and Weigang, the top 5 as it stands.
Problem they've got, Rasmussen and co, they're all in that DRS train again behind Tormala, so they're all getting DRS out of this final corner. The long run over the start-finish line, there's no massive closing speed. So Rasmussen, who's cautious at overtaking at the best of times, if he wants to make anything work here, he's got to throw in some lunges, but he doesn't look super quick either.
Onto the brakes, into the center S. We're on board with Sally Sautunk. Focused as he comes out through Curva de Sol. Gets the little beep which tells him he can open the DRS. Has a little check behind him. The Renault of Simon Weigang not close enough to make too much of an issue. And this is Rasmussen being passed by Lucas Blakely. Blakely sends one in late and deep up the inside, and he gains the place. Rasmussen's going to try and fight back, though, through Curva de Sol, down towards turn 4. Blakely covers the inside, and Rasmussen almost goes into the back of him. Has to go to the outside again. Blakely coming back over to the racing line. That's as close as it gets, I think, to changing your line around.
Big dive to the inside and then the outside, and Rasmussen almost hit him, then nearly hit him there at turn 4 as well on the brakes. Didn't like the inside to try and get back through, and that's just another position. Lost 13th place. A couple still to pit ahead, but long race this one for Rasmussen.
He's under pressure, because did you saw in the main straight, he just forgot to close the door and to cover the position. Blakely just surprised him on the inside, so he's the basic move. Tonitsa for the leadership!
David Tonitsa up the inside of Daniel Berejne. Can't quite get it done, but now he'll have another chance coming into Descida del Lago. Berejne doesn't cover the inside. Tonitsa's through and into the lead of the race in Sao Paulo. Great move from Tonitsa. If he wins this championship, he's going to win it in style.
It's building your confidence, because now you hear from the radio your rival is struggling behind. Look at him, he's 100% focused and determined to take this victory, to take this championship. Lap by lap, he's building up confidence and is delivering a fantastic result. Great move.
Lap 7 of 18 in the final race of the 2019 F1 Esports Pro Series. And it is David Tonitsa leading the way, and if it finishes like this, he is going to be the champion. Freddy Rasmussen, his main rival, is down in 12th place and a long way behind both the leaders and the other drivers to have made a pit stop. He'll shuffle out a bit more when the top 6 do come in, which they don't this time around. And some of them did, actually. I think Tonitsa pitted. David Tonitsa, from the lead of the race, has pitted them. Berezhny and Sautunk leading an Alfa Romeo 1-2. Now, this will be crucial. Where is Tonitsa going to emerge? He's in the net lead of the race, but is he still going to be in front of the rest of the train and the midfielders who went for the aggressive strategy of pitting pretty much on the first lap? Looking to the right-hand side, can't see anyone coming through there, and I think Tonitsa is going to emerge in front of them. Where is Joni Tormala? That's going to be the big question in the Red Bull. I think he's a long way further back, so Tonitsa gets out in front of Tormala, Caraton, and on fresher tyres. This is looking very, very good now for the Italian.
That's critical. Tormala, of course, Rasmussen's teammate. If there was any team play to be had, then he needed to get ahead of Tonitsa because, as you say, on the fresher tyres now, and still in 4th place, ahead of Tormala by a second and a half. Nearly home and dry.
Lap 8 of 18, though. Still a long way to go, and he's still getting involved in that fight for the lead with Daniel Berezhny and Sally Sautunk. Sautunk's really closed in to the back of Berezhny, actually, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's involved in the scrap. Into the pits comes Berezhny, so where's he going to emerge with regards to David Tonitsa? Did so well to come out with that clear air in front. That could have been crucial, because he could have been filtered out right into this pack of 6 cars, all in a train. Here they come through the final turn and out across the line. Tonitsa sprinting clear. We're on board with Alvaro Caraton up behind Joni Tormala. Does he fancy it? Not quite. Tormala covers the inside line. Keep your eyes on the tower on the left-hand side as well to see where Daniel Berezhny is going to filter out in all of this. He's up there, so he's in 2nd then. Still behind David Tonitsa. Sautunk could get up into a 3rd spot here, you know, if he can get out in front of Joni Tormala.
Got race on for the net lead as well, because Berezhny's right in behind Tonitsa on 1 lap fresher tyres, but with DRS, that could be an opportunity for him to pass. Look how close he is, just the car ahead of Tormala there, really harrying the back of Tonitsa.
On board through Pinheiro. Now up to Pico de Pato. Duck Peak. And then down through Meguglio and out towards Chunsao. Lap 9 of 18.
Yeah, half stages probably was too risky, the strategy also for Rasmussen, that he pitted the first lap and then he put the softer compound to do all the race long with it. So very, very strange that decision that probably cost to him the championship. But look at Tonitsa, just everything done in the perfect way, because he had the pole position, he had a fantastic start, he recovered the first position with a fantastic move, and then he had a fantastic strategy. So 100% perfect today.
So we're on lap 10 of 18, and Tonitsa now in a net 2nd place, but Berezhny's looking racy, and Berezhny will know Tonitsa's not going to take any risks here. He can lunge one just for the fun of it and see what happens. Into the tight right-hander, and then it's Tormala behind in the Red Bull. Sally Sautunk still yet to pit. He's out in front, 17.6 second advantage, so we'll see whether that is going to be enough to bring him out in this fight. He'll have even fresher tyres than his Racing Point teammate Daniel Berezhny, and he pits now, Sally Sautunk, from the lead of the race. So where is he going to come out compared to Tonitsa, Berezhny and Tormala? If this works out for Tormala, his strategy, which is the one that Rasmussen did, will have got him from 5th up into 3rd place. So it wasn't a bad strategy, as it were, from Rasmussen, but it just hasn't worked out for him. Here we go with Berezhny, a little bit too far back this time to make a move on Tonitsa, sensing him very, very late. Where's his teammate? There, to the left, Sally Sautunk, coming out of the pits. Is he going to slot into 3rd spot here? Keep your eyes to the left. We get in front of him, and I think it's going to be 4th place, in behind Joni Tormala. So Tonitsa leads, Berezhny 2nd, Tormala 3rd, Caraton in the Williams just got ahead, and Sally Sautunk's in 5th.
Now it starts to become a risky condition for Tonitsa, because look the group behind him. If he goes under pressure by Berezhny, he's going to risk something. So he needs to don't fight and to try to be as quick as possible, just to try to pull away and to don't be in this dangerous. Because look, it's a big gap, but when you have a championship that you can take it, you have the pressure, you have a lot of stuff that makes your race harder than normal.
Lap 11 of 18. On board with Freddy Rasmussen. He's in 10th place, but that's nowhere near enough. If Tanitsa wins the race, that's it. Even if Rasmussen were to finish second, Tanitsa would be the champion.
That's a horrible view he's got coming into the final corner there. 9 cars in front, led by a red Ferrari of his championship rival. Really frustrating. But can Tanitsa hold on for the win? Is he going to fight too hard if Beresnay throws a lunge? That's kind of the only thing that can go wrong. With that many cars in between the two rivals, it's whether Beresnay can throw his car into the mix.
Alvaro Caraton under big pressure. The Williams covering the inside from the attacking Joni Tormala. Then Sally Sautunk to the outside. Round the outside of Desira Del Lago for Sautunk. And that's a lovely move to get himself up into 4th position. And now right on the back of Alvaro Caraton in the Williams for the final podium spot. We're on board with Joni Tormala, who's just lost out to the Alfa.
Fresher tires for Sautunk can be dangerous for everyone, because did you saw him how quick he was on the outside line? A fantastic choice of line there, and he surprised everyone, having the overtake where usually you don't do it. So fantastic move.
Tormala, I think, struggling with the tyres a little bit though. Remember, he pitted at end of lap 1, the same as Rasmussen. He's on the soft tyre, and I think he was just oversteering as well through Pico de Pato. And he's already dropping a little bit away from Sautunk as well. So that's bad news even more for the Red Bull team.
Lap 12 of 18. Here is Sally Sautunk. Is he going to be close enough for a move this time on Caraton? And is Beresnay close enough for a move on Tanitsa? He had a little look, didn't quite fancy it, into the center S, and then down they come. 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, all in a queue. And then out through Curva de Sol. At the back of the queue is the championship leader. At the front of the queue, the champion-elect. Surely, on lap 13 of 18, there's a commentator's curse.
All eyes on Beresnay. That's the man right now that can throw a spanner into the mix, and pretty much the only one. There's no way Rasmussen's making up enough places, so it's just whether Tanitsa loses enough places, and right now he's leading, looking comfortable, but this is the lead margin. It's really, really tight, and Beresnay will have DRS over the line, and if you ask me, he looks a little bit closer this lap than he has the last couple.
If Rasmussen finishes in 10th place, he needs Tanitsa to finish 8th or 9th for Rasmussen to win the championship. So that's how far back Tanitsa's got to shuffle. He's got a 4/10 of a second advantage this time over Beresnay as they come out over the start-finish straight to start lap 14 of 18. He doesn't have the DRS out in front, though, as they come into the center S. I think he's going to be close here, Beresnay. Does he go to the inside late in the day? No. Happy to be patient. Look at Alvaro Caraton. He's been at 5 places in this race. Really strong stuff. And
he's getting better and better, Caraton, because every race is making a progression. He's doing very, very well. Seems that he has more confidence at the moment. He's delivering a fantastic result. At the beginning of the championship was not so competitive, but now he's always fighting for the podium position. Well done for Caraton.
Lap 14 of 18. Through the quick right-handers, now into the tight and twisty middle sector of this Sao Paulo circuit. It's been hosting Formula One races since the 1970s, and then subsequently on this shortened version that has still kept the character of the original. And has hosted many magnificent title deciders, and it's great to have it in the F1 Esports series, actually, because it's the first time that these drivers have raced here in the 2019 F1 Esports New Balance Pro Series.
He's closer this time. Beresnay, I think, by the time he opens DRS, is going to be right with Tanitsa into the braking zone for turn 1. Opens the DRS now.
Here they come towards the center S, and he goes for it. Beresnay gets the inside line. Tanitsa doesn't fight him too hard. He knows what's on the line as far as he is concerned. And Daniel Beresnay in the Alfa Romeo is into the lead of the race. Is Alvaro Caraton going to get into the fight now? We're on board with Tanitsa, a little check behind. Can he fight back on Beresnay into the Desira Del Lago?
He didn't fight, He didn't fight. No. Very clever, because he knew about the position of Rasmussen. He knew that he just need to finish on the podium to take this championship. So he's driving very, very well. And now he has the advantage of the using of the DRS on the main straight. So it's easier to maintain the position to the rivals behind. So fantastic at the moment, Tanitsa.
But he's going to be under pressure from Alvaro Caraton before too long. The Spaniard right up behind Tanitsa in the fight over 2nd place. Sautunk in 4th has just kind of slowed his charge a little bit from looking so rapid coming out of the pits. And I tell you what, Tanitsa's not far away here from Berezhny, he's a little bit further actually as they come out of Junsao, goes up to 0.5 of a second, so maybe not close enough to make a move. Caraton in the Williams is going to be, though, right underneath the gearbox of the Ferrari, into the center S to start lap 16 of 18. Does Caraton fancy it? Nope, not this time. Late on the brakes, but just still tucks in behind David Tonitsa. Freddy Rasmussen still down there in 10th position, and after the... It's almost... inexplicable is a bit of a strong word, as Tonitsa has a little look at fighting back at Berezhny, but Rasmussen has been so strong. There you can see the dinosaur down there for Tonzilla, his little mascot, and or toy, as Gallagher calls it, on lap 16 of 18. But Berezhny leading, Tonitsa second, right behind him. But what a frustrating race for Rasmussen, considering the last 2 races, he's won by 3 seconds.
Now it's risky, yeah, because look how close they are, the top drivers. It is not an easy condition for Tonitsa, that he doesn't want to be aggressive with Berezhny, because he knows that at the moment he's the championship leader, but he has the pressure from Caraton just behind him. So not an easy condition for the last 2 laps.
Here we come. About to start the penultimate lap of the race. And Tonitsa's very, very close here to the back of Berezhny, and this is just a risk versus reward situation, isn't it, for Tonitsa? And I think he's taking the reward at the moment. Just tucks in behind the Alpha driver, and I guess you want to be making the move going on to the final lap, rather than being ahead going on to the... rather than being overtaken going on to the final lap.
The DRS has been powerful, we've seen that already. About a half-second gap out of the final corner can be chewed up with a slipstream in the DRS. So it is going to be a bit of gameplay. Already in Belgium and Monza this year, we saw that from Berezhny himself when he won. And now he's on the receiving end, leading as we're half a lap away from the final lap. The last chance they're going to really have the DRS. And look, there's still so much pressure on Tonitsa. Does he want to go for the win, or does he try and just keep his powder dry in second place and take the title?
Lap 17 of 18. Up to Junsao, my apologies. And now out onto the main straight. What is Tonitsa going to do? Is he going to try and wrap up the championship in a blaze of glory with a victory around Sao Paulo? Or is he going to play the percentage game and sit in behind Berezhny? Berezhny's covering the inside. Tonitsa onto the brakes into the center S. He's super late. He's going to stay close to Berezhny, but I think he's quite happy with his second place, the Italian. It'll be enough to wrap up the 2019 championship. Alvaro Caraton is third, a little smile almost in the bottom left on the face of Berezhny. Tonitsa looks to the outside into Desira del Lago, fancies it, can't quite get it done, and the two battling very, very hard. I thought he was playing it safe, and he goes for a move around the outside.
He's winning a great race, Berezhny, yeah, because it was not an easy one. With the DRS so powerful on the main straight, you need to be quick and also very clever to win this race. He's driving very, very well, Berezhny, but Tonitsa today was just perfect. And always he positioning the car in the safest place to win this championship. Well done.
Here they come then towards the final corner, dropping down through Mergulho and then up towards Junsao for the final time. Daniel Berezhny is the man who looks like he's going to take the victory in the final race of this 2019 season. But second place across the line for Ferrari, their first year in the championship, his first year in the championship, and the 2019 title for David Tonitsa. Berezhny wins the race, Tonitsa is the champion. Caraton in third, Sautunk fourth, and Freddy Rasmussen ends his campaign with a difficult 10th place finish. Very, very tough afternoon in Sao Paulo for Freddy Rasmussen. But there is David Tonitsa on the inset. Tonzilla, the winner of the 2019 F1 Esports New Balance Pro Series. And he deserved it. I mean, a couple of little sketchy moments. He came into tonight 26 points in the lead. After 2 races, he was suddenly 4 points behind. That took a lot of nerve and steel to come back.
Great season and a fantastic last race, because, I mean, after a 2 difficult race, being so competitive and so performing in quali, taking the pole position, having a fantastic start, and then race as he raced today was just unbelievable, and the reaction was just amazing. Well done.
Daniel Berezhny with an impressive performance. He went and won the final race of the season. He was in contention coming into this evening, but it all just slipped away a little bit for the Hungarian, but still finishes with the victory. Davide, an Italian, winning the championship in a Ferrari. How do you feel?
Very happy for him and very happy for myself because he just deserved it. I told you, the Italians are tough. And Tonizza was very tough today.
Very tough Italians, very tough, aren't they? What did you make of the championship season, Palmer?
Yeah, really great stuff.
Yeah.
I had two main rivals fighting it out until the end. In the end, he started the season so well, he finished it so well, didn't crack under pressure, and that's how you win a championship.
Well, let's go here from the 2019 F1 Esports Pro Series champion. David Tonizza is with Rosanna Tennant.
David, congratulations. You are the champion. A huge applause for you here. How are you feeling after what you've done this year?
I don't really know where my head is right now. Talking about the race, I wanted the race win, but at the end I was started to think to the championship, so I'm already happy about this.
It is fantastic to watch you race. It was an incredible last race. Just tell me about that battle with Daniel.
Yeah, I started to stay behind Dani, and then I saw that he started to reach the ERS, and at the end I tried the overtake, but it was way too risky, so I decided to stay P2, and GG to Dani. He had an amazing race, so yeah.
Well, you've had an amazing year. What does this mean for 2020? We are going to see you back for F1 Esports, surely.
Yeah, of course, I want to do also in the next year very well, but this year went pretty good. I think it was perfect, so I just hope another season for the next year like this.
Well, congratulations from everyone here, everyone supporting you. Huge applause for David Tonizza.
Beautiful stuff. I just wanted you to hear the crowd here. Very much happy with David Tonizza, and he is the new champion, but we are going to have to wait a little longer for his coronation. Just like in F1 racing, stewards are frantically working behind the scenes to make sure the race is clean and no penalties need to be handed out. And just like F1, we have a driver helping to inform those decisions. Rosanna is joined by Jordan King to find out what is involved.
Jordan, you're usually competing out on track as a driver. What's your role with F1 Esports?
Yeah, so here I'm the driver steward. We're at the back here checking what everyone's doing on there, on the actual live races. So, yeah, it's a bit of a process of viewing the incidents, what people have done, and coming to a verdict on the outcome.
And why is it important to have a driver as part of the stewards?
I think it's pretty important from the sense of, as a driver, you know what's going on behind the scenes, what the driver's doing, so you need to be able to have someone to bounce a ball off them and get the ideas of what's happening.
And are there still as many incidents as we see in real life Formula One here in F1 Esports?
Yeah, it's a lot busier behind the scenes than you would expect here, really. We've got people watching them, sending the incidents through to us, and then we review them. So, you know, there's some races there's been 50 or 60 incidents, some of them very minor that we don't have to do anything for, and then others obviously more severe. So yeah, we're constantly looking at everything from track limits to contact to, you know, pit lane infringements, everything. So it's all happening behind the scenes, and hopefully it then runs smoothly from your side.
Well, thank you so much for taking time out to talk to us. We'll let you get back to the adjudication.
Thank you.
Welcome along to the Gfinity Arena, where we are currently getting ready for the third instalment of the F1 Esports New Balance Pro Series 2019.
It's Oxman and Tormula on the front row. All 5 lights are on, and we're racing in Germany. It's possible before pitting so far this year. What a dummy from Jarno Oxman. He's got the inside on David Tonizza. That's a beautiful move. I think this has been one of the strongest performances in the history of F1 Esports here today. Jarno Oxman out across the line to take victory in Hockenheim. Let's go to the start of the Grand Prix in Belgium. All 5 lights are on. We're racing in Spa. Beresne into the lead then for Alfa Romeo. Nice move up the inside into Les Combes. And there goes Beresne round the outside and into the lead of the race. And it's Daniel Beresne who's going to take the win.
Yes! Come on! Yes! Come on! Get in there, my boy!
So Beresne on pole, Lee alongside him. We're racing in Monza. Beresne holds his line and he's going to get done here by 2 cars. Tonizza takes advantage and slots into second position. Longuet leads.
Beresney has to go for it this time. Tonitza comes with him in the Ferrari. Beresney should be able to hang on down through the Parabolica for the final time. Another win in the F1 Esports Pro Series for Daniel Beresney.
There's only 1 lap of fuel remaining.
There you go. That was on board with David Tonitza in Interlagos there. Basically, just summarising on our head what was going on in the rig up there for David. What did you make of that race? And it really did come down to the wire, didn't it?
Great race, yeah. Controlled very well by Tonitza there. I thought, yeah, he had composure throughout the whole race. He knew they had the upper hand, didn't make any silly mistakes. Looked like he was going to try and go for the lead a couple of times, but yeah, great race there.
Yeah, happy to see Danny Beresney holding out, getting another pole and a podium finish.
Very happy. A bit gutted, obviously. He was outside with a chance of winning the championship. But, yeah, nice to end the season on a high. He's won a good few races this year, so, yeah, very happy for him.
Jolyn, you were commentating on that race. It wasn't nail-biting because we knew Rasmussen couldn't. He had to work his way up through the pack. But, again, Tonitza had it all to lose, didn't he?
Well, that's the thing. There's still an element of risk because he was behind in the championship. Anything goes wrong for him, and even if Rasmussen's 10th, he can still be champion. So I think Freddy was not too dialed into Brazil as he has been at other races, so he was always on the back foot. But, yeah, Tonitza, brilliant job.
OK, well, listen, I'll tell you what, I don't know about this audience. Should we welcome on David Tonitza? Well, I'm going to tell you, that was sort of sounded like a question. Let's welcome David Tonitza! David, join here. Let's move up a little bit. David, I'll move you guys around. Listen, congratulations. David, talk to me. How does it feel to have won that race?
Yeah, it's just great. I don't really know where my head is right now, as I already said. And yeah, I'm not realizing that this happened. And we've done a huge work during all the year. This was also our rookie year, also as a team. So I don't really know. It's a perfect performance, I think, for the first year.
Did you overthink it at all? Did you think at any point when you knew that Rasmussen, was your team telling you Rasmussen's in 10th, just stay on the track, just stay on the track? Was that ever going across your mind?
Yeah, of course. Also, I wanted the race win, as any driver wants. But at the end, I figured out that it was way too risky. So I just stick with Danny, and I finished P4, but P2, yeah, P2. But yeah, I'm really enjoying the moment.
Yeah, and as you should do, and there's so many fans in there cheering you along today. Jolyn, David's saying there about like just staying focused in that moment. It can all go a little bit, but you have to be mentally strong to just get across the line. Well,
yeah, it was super impressive. But also on the final lap, you got a chance to win the race still. You're side by side on the outside of turn 4. Were you still going for the win, or were you always a bit cautious there?
No, indeed, I wanted the race win, as I already said, but it was too risky, so I tried on the outside. I didn't manage to do it, so I had to finish second.
Yeah, and obviously, David, you've got the whole team behind you on the comms, talking you through. How much have they steered or given you insight into things, or is it just natural ability that you've been able to bring to certain races?
No, of course, I had a huge support behind. I think this is a huge family. It's not just a team. And I'd like also to spend a few words about my teammates. They didn't have the strongest performance this year, but I really enjoy to work with them because they put a lot of effort during the year. So I will really enjoy to do the next season with them again.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's one. Giglioli is clapping at the back. He's very happy up there at the moment. What's it like, Jamie, when a teammate isn't quite performing, but you are? Do you feel an extra pressure? Sometimes has David dealt with it in the most professional manner?
Yeah, I think you've dealt with that a lot better than a lot of us would have done. I think it's really important to use each other as much as you can. Obviously, you're competing against each other. You want to get the edge over them. But, yeah, clearly you've had the edge over them this year and you've managed to utilise them to help you achieve the success this year. So, yeah, kudos to you.
Yeah, and as we wait for that adjudication, what's it like? How are you feeling? Obviously, you're thinking I had a pretty clean race out there.
Yeah, I don't really know what I'm thinking right now. I'm just enjoying the moment. Maybe tomorrow I will figure out that I've done it.
Okay, and I've got to ask, well, listen, actually, I'll tell you what we do. David, thank you so much. Another round of applause for David for the Interlagos race. You can relax a little bit. Neck and neck throughout the race with Daniel Berezny. I believe he is with Rosanna right now.
He is, Tom. Daniel, congratulations. You've had probably a tricky year, you would say. How important for you mentally was it to finish on a high and take the race win?
Yeah, every race win is equal, 25 points, and obviously a race win, which is a privilege. But to go into the winter break like this is always the best, and I couldn't have dreamt of anything better.
You were battling with David all throughout that race. I think you have a message for our new champion, is that right?
Yeah, I actually have a message. Give me this mic. You are the champion, my friend. And yeah, also I would like to say that how hard it is to win a championship like that, and I would like to congratulate from the first, second, or third place. Awesome, thousands of hours of practice, mentally staying strong. Well done. It's nice to see you there, a fair racer in our group. So see you next year on track.
Daniel Berezny, that was fabulous. Fantastic. Tom, back to you.
Thank you very much. I don't really know what to say after that, as I'm sure a lot of people don't quite know how to take that. But hey, that's great sportsmanship. And I like that bit at the end. I don't know if you heard Danny Berezny saying, I'll see you next year. So there really is. You've learned from this year. You know who your target men are for next season.
Yeah, I'm a bit gutted. I've never been serenaded by Danny Berezny, but it's the first for everything. Yeah, no, it's cool. The sportsmanship in esports is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, a great camaraderie between everyone, and yeah, I like that. I think he knows what his target is for next year.
Yeah, and Jolyn, obviously Daniel has a lot to work on. Not the cleanest start at the beginning of the season, but then really showed his own going through. He'll just want to have a more consistent year next year.
That's basically it. He's had 2 really good years, actually, but not quite been able to fight purely for the title. So there's a lot of potential there. A great win again today, but I'm sure next year he's going to be focusing on lifting the big one.
Perfect. I'm going to serenade Matt Gallagher right now. You are the champion of the touchscreen, Matt Gallagher.
That was really quite good, actually, Tom. Good work. Yes, David Tonitsa, what an unbelievable performance from him. And we're going to have a look at the highs and lows, well, mainly highs for David Tonitsa. It was an amazing, amazing achievement for him. He was so quick out the blocks. It was unbelievable. We thought he was going to run away with the series from the get-go, but he did get a little bit nervous towards the end. We saw it here this evening, but he had so many commanding, masterful drives that he put so many points in the bag that Rasmussen was always chasing. He has the toy in hand. Maybe next year Rasmussen will bring his own toy to have a little duel, I'm not sure. But Tonitsa, I mean, I can't believe how aggressive he was. Even during the final race, his team would have been coming over the radio saying, oh, you know, Rasmussen's in 10th, he's nowhere, you're going to win the championship. But there was none of that. He gave us some brilliant action around the Interlagos circuit, and he didn't end up winning, but he ended up winning the championship, and that's all he cared about. And nice little chats about his teammates as well. It shows that it's a team sport, this F1 Esports series, because it's not just him putting in the work, it's all his teammates getting in the setups right. There's so many variables with the setups that you don't see that. It's always behind the scenes. So very interesting. David Tonitsa, unbelievable. Good job, mate.
Thank you very much, Matt. Lovely words. And I will never, ever try and serenade anybody ever again. We've learnt that as well. David Tonitsa has become only the 2nd driver to win the Pro Series. Brendan Lee has dominated for the last 2 seasons, but this year he has not been at his fluent best. But one thing is for certain, he'll be back again, challenging next season.
I don't really think people appreciate, understand, or even have any idea of how stressful it is to be in this F1 Esports. I think Mercedes have been really huge in my life development, really. Really humble for me as well to be here, because Mercedes are obviously the top team in real Formula 1, and they always aspire to be better, and that carries over to myself in the esports and every way possible. Going back to 2017, I had the pace, but the transformation I had from 2017 to 2018 and was mainly just making me more robust mentally, and I feel that's really helped me in every way, shape and form, both personally, professionally. I got the opportunity to drive the Mercedes Sim. I did a test day late last year. They was impressed with my performance through that, and through that I was given the job. And to be in that opportunity to be in the Mercedes Sim and train, develop the real car is just an honour. You know, you go to work every day with a smile when you leave every day with a bigger smile.
It's just fascinating watching Brendan Lee change ERS mode, engine mode, brake bias for every single corner.
The work that I'm doing with the engineers and the sim is transferring to the esports hugely, because in esports we never grew up with engineers. We had to learn ourselves. I understand a lot more with the car dynamics, how to set up a car. So because of all those dynamics of being in the sim and understanding, I'm 10 times better of a driver than I was before.
Mercedes dominated last season with Brendan Lee and Daniel Berejne, but it's not been quite as easy this year.
I think we need to understand the new dynamic of F1 esports a bit more. We had a system that worked extremely well in 2017 and 2018 especially. We need to slightly adapt it and slightly tweak that energy flow, and then we focus on certain dynamics like qualifying a bit more, just to maximise ourselves.
Brendan Lee, back-to-back F1 Esports Pro Series champion. Superb performance from Brendan Lee.
I have a few things I love doing in life, and driving is one of those. I don't think I'm going to get bored anytime soon. I love competing. Every time I start a race, I still have those butterflies in my stomach. I still enjoy the love of driving. Where I will be, again, I don't know, because the industry goes so quickly. There's one thing I do know, is I want to be with Mercedes in the future. I love their brand, I love what they're about. I think we're very confident within each other's abilities, and I think we just look forward to next year and make sure that we're back on the top step.
So there we go. Welcome back. Lovely to hear from Brendan Lee. Not a title champion. He's not the champion this year, but he's a two-time champion. He's probably learnt a lot from this year, and he's definitely, as I know, chatting to him off camera as well, he's unfazed by what's happened this year. He's just going to come back stronger next year. Is that partly maybe to do with the game, that people have to relearn, you know, F1 19, and then next year they have to get to grips with the whole game?
Yeah, the handling changes every single year, just like with real Formula One. You know, there's loads of changes happen, and it is getting those little nuances, getting everything right. And it's that, and it's also the other teams just putting so much work into developing their drivers, both on the track and, you know, getting the absolute performance out of them, but also the mental side. You know, I keep saying it's the mental side and them being able to perform on the night, and that's what we're seeing. They're so close. You saw a train in Brazil. It is just so close. Yeah,
everyone has definitely raised their game, Jolien. But with Brendan, he just seems, he talks the talk, and that's what I respect about him as a driver. How will he be able to deal with this season after being back-to-back champion? Will it obviously give him the impetus to get better for 2020?
I thought you were going to have a go at him for not walking the walk there, the former two-time champ. I mean, he's had one bad year, but he's still had flashes of pace. We've said it a million times. The field's so close. He's going to be back, and he's going to be a force to be reckoned with, I'm sure, for next year.
Yeah, when a race doesn't go to plan, when a whole season doesn't go to plan, Jamie, what can you do? How can you look at your own driving ability, your own game plans?
I think it's almost positive in a way, because it's given him an opportunity now to look at next year's clean slate, start again, build on what sort of went right, what went wrong this year. But for me, what's exciting with Brendan is the opportunities that are coming in the real world now. With Mercedes, the opportunity in the real sim. Getting these opportunities off the back of competitions like this, it's really exciting.
Yeah, it just feels so odd that he's literally there. He's literally there. Right. The Pro Series is obviously a very demanding challenge in its own right, requiring hours of practice and training. But some of these drivers, as Jamie was saying, are also battling to make their way in the real-world racing. One such driver is Cem Bolibasi, who has been performing a difficult juggling act this season.
There he is. It is Cem Bolibasi, doing a fantastic job, esports as a whole.
I've started motorsports when I was 5 or 6 years old, but the budget was very high, and back in the day we couldn't find the sponsorship, so that's when I switched to simulators actually, and I really enjoyed it, so I said, if I can't drive the car next season, might as well play it in the game. Right after that, in 2017, Formula One announced the official F1 Esports Championship, and I qualified to finals, which was at the same time as Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, the actual F1 race. I won one race, and I was 5th overall in the championship. And also in that weekend, Fernando Alonso announced his esports team, and I was the first member of that team. It was one of the best weekends I had in terms of esports. In the span of like 24 hours, my life was completely different. I went on from just gaming in my room to having an interview on international TV with one of the biggest Formula 1 stars and one of my idols.
Bassi wins in Spa, wins the second race of the F1 Esports Series.
In 2018, I was picked by Toro Rosso's esports team. The F1 Esports was bigger and better than ever. It was like we're getting the actual Formula 1 teams involved. It was just crazy. It was hard to believe what was happening. You just have to sometimes just take a step back and look at what happened the past year to understand where you've come from, pretty much. It was amazing, of course, because it's something you dream about for a very, very long time, to race in a Formula car, in a single-seater car. Having that experience when I was a little kid also helped me to get used to that fear of speed or adrenaline just pumping. I think that kind of helped me get used to the transition from sim racing to real racing. All the F1 drivers, they spend time on a simulator because they have to. Sim racing helps real racing helps sim racing. I have to do both of them at the same time if I want to get better. So when I practice for F1 Esports, I practice for my real life races as well because I get used to that track. And it's a fantastic combination. Formula 1 has changed my life from just gaming in my room to being a part of a Formula 1 team representing them in a championship. I think already it was going places, the sim racing side, but when F1 got involved, it was just changed forever. It's just unimaginable where it's going to go.
There you go, Cembulik Bassi. As you can see, we're getting very close to the trophy presentation, so don't go anywhere. But I want to ask about Cembulik Bassi. More and more of these F1 esports drivers, that is the beauty of this discipline. They're able to use it as a stepping stone, and another way actual drivers are coming into F1 esports. So, Cembulik Bassi, it has been a juggling act. How difficult is it to do something like that?
I think it's difficult for him to go the way he's gone, for sure, like just jumping in the deep end. But I think it just shows the quality of esports at the moment. And we see a lot of the F1 drivers now coming back into it. I'm coming back into it or trying to. So, yeah, it just shows the quality of esports, how well they've tuned their craft. And, yeah, it's impressive to see him doing so well in the real world as well.
Yeah, and that juggling act and his teammate, Patrick Holtzman, and they've had to sort of adapt at times. Does there come a point, Jolien, where he's going to have to say it's either the F1 esports or it's going to be the real world driving?
Well, it depends how he's doing. If he's juggling them both well, then, you know, keep going, really. But I think there's a lot of synergies, actually, between the two. You're still kind of driving a car, even if there's some differences in the nuances of getting the pace out of it. But the mental side is critical in real racing and esports as well that we've seen tonight. Indeed. All right, well, listen, guys, Matt, Jolien, Jamie, let's get ready because we're about to present this first award. And it goes to the fastest lap with DHL. And he is, of course, for the Toro Rosso, it's Patrick Holtzman! How about that? Patrick Holtzman, for the moment, I thought you'd done a Freddy Rasmussen. You'd frozen for a second there, but that was just to get that picture. Patrick, how does it feel to win the fastest lap? And I want to talk about your season in 2019.
I have to say I would rather take the other trophy, but it's better than nothing.
True, amen to that, right?
Yeah. I mean, I kind of have to be honest, right? It was a disappointing season overall. Today was okay, getting that podium, good amount of points. So I'm overall happy with today. Just woke up way too late into the season. Should have taken things more serious early on. Previous 2 seasons were nice, so you know, ups and downs. Next year is going to be better for sure. Yeah, I mean, you've definitely got that pedigree. I remember when we were way back in Abu Dhabi 2017, 2018 as well. So do you think that everyone has raised their game? Maybe you didn't come into this thinking there was going to be so much improvement from every driver? I don't really think that everyone raised their game. I just let myself down in so many races. I choked too many times, and as you can see with Brandon, you know, 2 times champ, and then just didn't go his way this season as well. You can't always do well. I did well. I thought I did well last season. Abu Dhabi P4 as well was awesome. You know, that's how it goes.
Yeah, well, fastest lap, DHL trophy winner this year. Are you back for 2020?
I hope so.
Fingers crossed. Well, listen, I love it. Give it up for Patrick Holtzman, the DHL Fastest Lap. Stay there for me because the DHL Fastest Lap Award is just another small example of how F1 Esports has grown since its inception in 2017. But where can it end up in the future? Well, our very own Matt Gallagher has been finding out what might be in store.
Drive. Freddy Rasmussen has really chipped in to the lead now. He's got the inside on Davidson, so that's a beautiful move. Beresney into the lead then for Alfa Romeo.
All the hours of planning, training, and racing.
The growth is insane to think about.
The people that want to get involved are always more and more and more.
The lap times these kids are doing, it's insane.
Back in 2013, when I used to race competitively, I used to dream of F1 Esports, racing on the big stage against the best drivers in the world. Fast forward 4 years and we're in Abu Dhabi for the final in a Grand Prix weekend in the paddock. You can't get better than that, right? 2 years later, we have every single F1 team involved, creating the best drivers possible, both physically and mentally.
Yeah, these guys are extremely quick, and clearly they have the feeling for it, because that's all it is really. It's understanding what is the limit.
It is still racing. You've still got to maximise your braking points, hit your apexes, carry as much speed as possible.
With the F1 teams involved in the Pro Series, it gives the drivers access to unparalleled support. The most important thing is the mental side. I think the drivers are within 1 or 2 tenths of a second when in the comfort of their own home. But put them in the Gfinity Arena for the finals with cameras, lights, thousands of people watching and $500,000 on the line. That's where the F1 teams have to come in.
The F1 esports competition is an insanely high level, and suddenly the curve of required practice is very steep, and this requires a big adjustment for a sim racer. There's 20 drivers within half a second, which is insane. There's no category in real-life racing like that, so you need to be on it to perform. And to deal with this pressure, it requires a change of mindset. Suddenly they become a professional sportsman, really.
Sort of mental approach that Mercedes helped me with from 2018 onwards. It helps maximise myself. I'm a better driver because I've got the opportunity than I was before.
The game too is improving every season, not just in the handling and making it as close to real life as possible, but also in the esports accessibility, making sure that you can qualify from the comfort of your own living room for the Pro Series, something that not many games can offer. And also Codemasters has been working on the graphics and the spectator cam to bring an informative and also pleasurable viewing experience for you, the fans. Now leave me alone, I need to do this.
Even in my experience, F1 2018, it is definitely similar to what it is in real life. Of course, with our sims, we have a lot of motion going on, but in terms of the actual feeling and characteristics of the car, it's not far away at all.
The technology has been improving really fast, and the feeling you get in the simulator is getting closer and closer to real life. So I'm guessing someday it's going to happen that a sim driver is going to get into real F1, but not just yet.
It's a very good learning curve, and I think the more opportunities you can give to drivers who can't afford actual racing, but are very good on sim racing, and then you get them into the car, I think it's a very good thing.
This would be a huge scalp for sim racer Enzo Benito.
Oh! Benito wins.
It's something that I think about probably every day. For the people that driving the simulators made them look like they could be race car drivers, it's definitely something I'm really proud of.
It shows how realistic and how much you can learn from a simulator and progress and go into an actual car and do well.
Maybe a couple of years down the line, I'll be racing against some sim guys.
I'd love to be a part of driving a real F1 car. That would be the ultimate dream, yeah.
It's quite clear that F1 Esports is here to stay. The last 3 years of development has been crazy. What will the next 3 years bring? I don't know, but I'm very excited for it.
Where F1 is taking this, I think it's in good hands. It could be a situation where we're travelling the world and going to each GP with the teams and doing a championship laid out with that. It could be we travel to each city and do like a football stadium like they do in other esports, but no matter where we are or what we do, it will be a huge part of esports and a huge part of motorsport.
There you go then. We are back here at the Gfinity Arena for the F1 Pro Series. It's the grand final. We know that we're going to get to that team trophy in just a second. But Matt, a day out there for you to go and chat to everybody. That must have been very fun. How do you see the sort of F1 esports and its evolving nature that it has at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, it's very exciting, isn't it? Look at us. We're here, third season, and it's only getting bigger and better. And it was also nice to go out, you know, to McLaren. It's always a nice place to go and visit. And it's amazing to see all of the F1 teams growing their esports hub. You know, I went to Williams only last week, and they have like 15, 16 simulators within their factory now. It's absolute madness, and there's a lot of money on the line, so why wouldn't they?
Exactly. Well, listen, Matt, thank you very much for doing that. I'd like to welcome a guest to come and join me on this stage right now. It's the F1 Sean Bratches, Managing Director of Commercial Operations.
Good to see you.
Sean, lovely to have you here back again. I've got to ask, we heard from Matt that from that feature, F1 Esports is getting bigger. This is our third year now. We'll be back for the fourth, fingers crossed. So, I mean...
You'll have to cross your fingers. We're coming back for a fourth.
Brilliant. That's perfect. How have you seen it?
Put it in the bank.
OK, it's in the diary already at some point. But obviously...
We haven't made a decision on a host, but...
Oh, wow. Wow. Sure.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Tom's doing a phenomenal job.
That's the best burying of this show so far for me that I've ever seen. No, Sean, where are we at with F1 Esports? How are you seeing it's evolving?
Oh, listen, it's a priority for us. We're putting our shoulder behind it from a personnel, from an economic standpoint. Our partners, we've got our sponsors, New Balance, DHL, and Fantech are very excited about the participation. As Matt said, the interest in the sport actually went up 65% from last year to this year. We just did a deal in China to host a regional, and we'll actually have a few participants in the Pro Draft next year from China. There's more countries around the world we're talking to about that. So, consumption is up, participation is up. I think the first and the third esports that we did here had over 1 million live streams. So our best days are in front of us, but we're doing famously today.
Yeah, and the best shade that has ever been thrown just happened a minute ago, and I love it. Looking forward for more of that. Sean, will you help me with this trophy?
It looks heavy, but I'll give it a shot.
OK, well, ladies and gentlemen, to present the team trophy, we've got Sean Bratches. This goes to the team, as you already know from today. Please welcome out, it's Red Bull!
Here comes the attack from Freddy Rasmussen, all the way around the outside.
He's in! Come on, believe in yourself!
Frederick Rasmussen here comes across the line to win the third race.
Come on, today was just spectacular.
Here we go!
Congratulations. Fantastic. Well done, guys. Well done. Tell Christian how to do it, all right?
Go on, Freddy. Listen, congratulations. Congratulations to the Red Bull team. Freddie, I want to chat to you about this season. Ice cold. We never know quite what your emotions are, but that felt good, lifting that trophy.
Yeah, it felt great.
And of course, next year, we want to see your name maybe on that Drivers' Championship, winning that. It came down to the last race. What was your take on that?
Yeah, I wasn't even supposed to race in the final race, but since I suddenly was leading the championship, I decided to jump in. Well, I didn't, but we did. Thankfully, Crow, he was a nice guy. Even though he did so much practice, he was allowed me to drive. But I didn't have any practice for Brazil, so couldn't really do much.
So maybe next year, I like that, just leaving it open. I love that. Yoni, we know how much of a team sport this is. Nicholas, obviously, from Freddie saying that he's stepped out. Has it felt like a team this year?
Definitely, yeah. I think we have been the strongest team out of all, and I think it shows in the points, and this trophy feels great to have it in my hands.
And Nicholas, I want to chat to you, the youngest driver to get a podium. What does it mean to be part of the Red Bull Racing?
Well, this is a family I've always dreamed to be part of, and just seeing what we've accomplished in just 1 year, it's amazing to be part of it.
Well, listen, once again, massive congratulations to Red Bull Racing Esports. Ladies and gentlemen, give a round of applause. Beautiful stuff. I'll let you guys head up that way. Thank you very much to Sean as well. Let's get the guys back in. Thank you very much. Jamie, Jolyon, Matt Gallagher. They're loud, weren't they? Those pyrotechnics, all the budget's gone on them. They are loud and proud, but fantastic work from those guys. You heard from Freddy, giving us all the information about the thought process going behind it, but it was good for the spectators that he was racing in that last race.
Definitely. He put on a show, and you never know what could have happened. He started 7th. He got a point. It was worth a crack. He didn't seem best pleased about it, but, you know, he's just lost the championship right at the end, so who can blame him, really? Yeah, and Nicholas Longate, what a fantastic pick for them in the draft. He's just beginning to show what he's capable of. This is exciting for 2020.
Absolutely, yeah. We saw with a lot of teams over the course of the season, they didn't really have the strongest driver roster. They had one really good driver and then two potentially that were letting the side down slightly in terms of scoring points, whereas Red Bull, they had a roster where they could go to Nicholas if they needed to. Right, go practice this track, let's get a podium. That's exactly what they did, and they won the Constructors from it, so it clearly works.
Yeah, indeed. No time to ask about roster changes and drafts maybe coming into the F1. There is no time. We have heard from Sean Bratches. It wouldn't be an F1 Esports show if we didn't hear from the man himself. Rosanna, I believe you're with Chase Carey.
Chase, it's been a fantastic year. What have you made of F1 Esports in 2019?
Well, it's been a great year for esports. Great growth in many levels. Certainly great growth of participation, the viewership, people tuning in to watch it. Excited to be here tonight, excited to see the competition.
And of course, it's going to go down to the wire this evening. How great is that the series has run for the entire season? We still don't know who the champion is yet.
Well, we've been working to get Formula One itself to that place, so it's great. Esports is ahead of us, so it's setting the pace for us. But it's, you know, that's what you want. You want competitions that go right down to the wire. That's what makes sports special.
And how important is it that F1 Esports continues and supports Formula One in its growth?
Very important. I mean, esports, the esports franchise has really been an important initiative for us to engage new fans, to really reach out into the digital arena. Clearly, esports, is a franchise that sort of connects with our non-traditional fans in many ways, and some of our traditional fans. I think as they watch it, they realize, there's some great racing, some great talent. It's great competition.
There's been some great racing. Enjoy this evening. Great to have you with us.
It's nice to be here. Thank you.
There you go. Great to hear from Chase Carey. Listen, I've got to ask, Jamie, before we get to the last trophy, have you enjoyed the whole F1 Esports Pro Series tonight?
I loved it. I think following afar hasn't done it justice, even watching on sort of the TV. So, yeah, to be here tonight, it's been awesome. Hopefully it's not the last time. Hopefully I can come back next year and watch some more. Yeah, well, I don't know if you heard from Sean Bratches. I might not be here next year, so let's find out on that one. Ladies and gentlemen, it is that time. Let's get to the Drivers' Trophy. Please welcome back out again, David Tonizza!
Me cry? Sorry, I cry seriously. Guys, we've done it. Woo! Did it!
Ladies and gentlemen, David Tonizza! David, welcome back. David, we're back. Everyone's anticipating you lifting this trophy. Did you ever, from way back in July when we had the draft, did you think you'd be here just about to lift that trophy?
Yeah, absolutely not. I just have a mind change during the year, and I put a lot of effort to obtain this, and I'm really grateful for my team also. I'm really happy.
Yeah, my producer's in my ear, like, ask another question. No, I want you to get that trophy. Ladies and gentlemen, Jolyon, would you help him with the trophy? Please give it up for David Tonizza! Ferrari Driver Academy, Hublot Esports team. Listen, I want to put it into words. What does it mean as a team for you to be in this position, lifting a trophy this year?
It means a lot because, as I already said, this is not a team. This is a huge family. We are, first of all, friends, and yeah, it means a lot.
Yeah, perfect. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, give it one more time to the amazing team. First year in the F1 Esports is Ferrari Driver Academy, Hublot Esports team. Amazing. Well, listen, I'll let them celebrate. Come with me, because I need to say thank you very much for watching in the 2019 season. What a phenomenal year it has been. Thank you to everyone being involved. I tell you what, we'll be back in 2020.
This year, Ferrari picked me. It's just an amazing feeling.
And it's a victory. Freddy Rasmussen here comes across the line. Godzilla is back, and he takes victory across the line in Austria. A fantastic overtake, a brilliant drive. Freddy Rasmussen has really chipped in to the lead now. He's got the inside on David Tonitza. That's a beautiful move. Lorenzo into the lead then for Alfa Romeo.
All the hours of planning, training, and racing. It all comes down to one moment. There can only be one winner.
Everyone else got held up in the pits, and I was able to just break the DRS and pull away.
Frantic start. Rasmussen has the lead. It's still not all over here. Tonitza's just been given a 3-second time penalty, though. Late one from Lee, and there's a bit of contact. Freddy Rasmussen across the line to seal the team's championship. Berezhny, the Hungarian, tries to swing around the outside, and that's a great move! Tonitza's through and into the lead of the race in Sao Paulo. Tonitza doesn't fight him too hard, he knows what's on the line. And the 2019 title for David Tonitza.